guys are taking on menopause, but making it so cool, like disrupting the entire space to a point it's never been talked about before. It's so, so cool. I don't really think I need to introduce both of you, but I will let the audience know your backgrounds, because you might not have heard of Naomi Watts.
Hi, everyone.
Oscar and Emmy-nominated actress, author, and founder of Stripes Beauty, which is what we're here to talk about today. And you've partnered with the amazing Kara Kamenev. I was like, I'm going to butcher her surname. I really don't want to. You've got an amazing background as well. You started as a Bloomberg analyst, and then a VP at L'Oreal for many years. And then you also have your own premium cocktail company, which I'm finding really fascinating. Female-led, right?
Yeah.
Incredible. Always. So you guys have paired together, and now you have Stripes Beauty. And I would love to rewind a little bit before we move on, just to the genesis of it. And Naomi, why did you start Stripes Beauty? What was that moment, that aha moment, this is what we need right now?
So, hi everyone, good morning, thanks for being here. Zana, we've known each other for a long time now. I basically found myself at 36 being told I was close to menopause right when I was trying to start a family. And it was shocking news to me. Filled me with panic and dread, and felt lonely and scared, and just couldn't wait to get out of the doctor's office and call up my mum and say, what the actual, fill in the blanks. And I did remember that she had told me she'd gone into menopause at 45, but that still felt a long way off from 36.
Sure.
I didn't know there was a multitude of symptoms. I didn't know that it could carry on. And the word perimenopause was nowhere. I certainly hadn't heard that. So, you know, I was trying to figure out how to have children as well as deal with this early onset of perimenopause. I was clueless, and so I piecemealed whatever information I could together between my doctor. Conversation was not open amongst my friends.
It wasn't?
No, no one was talking. In fact, I tried. I make a menopause joke, like saying I'm having an estrogen dip, or, oh, I think I'm having hormonal issues, and they'd be, oh, don't be silly, you're 36. That could never happen to you. And so, you know, just sort of filling you with more and more shame about it, this, you know, abnormality, you know, as we're told, exactly, which is absurd. We're told menopause, the average age is 51, and I was far away from that, so it just made me feel terrible about myself. Anyway, long story short, I was able to have children, and after I'd had my second child at 42, I was 40 when I had my second child, and about 42, hardcore menopause symptoms. And I was still trying to put the information all together. And I carried the secret around for a really long time, and it just became too burdensome, too lonely. And so I was like, I wish there was a guide. I wish there were people. I wish there was a conversation. I wish there was a place to learn. The internet wasn't even that active at that point in time. So I was percolating ideas, but they weren't fully formed, and I was still far too afraid to admit, you know, or brand myself as quote unquote finished, dried up, you know, in my industry, which is such an ageist industry. So I really sat with it to answer your question. Sorry, long-winded.
No, it's so fascinating.
And then it just became too exhausting to keep carrying that secret, and I just thought I need to see a brand that is really meeting a woman where she's at and making her feel more empowered for her cumulative experiences, for you know, her ups and downs, and this is not the end. You're still relevant. We want to hear from you. We want you to feel vibrant. We want you to feel like you look your best, and, you know, arm you with education and all of those things.
Did it start as an education idea and then grew into a brand, an actual product?
No, we knew we had 3 pillars, and they were education, community, and product solutions.
Right. And the name Stripes, I love the reason behind this. Give us a quick.
Well, as probably any of you know, it's hard to name your children, your pets, anything, you know, everything reminds you of something, or someone else has taken it. And So as I was talking about who this woman was, like I said, she's earned her place. She's gone through ups and downs. She should feel unapologetic, proud of everything that she's done. She's earned her stripes.
Earned her stripes.
So
the fact that you got that name, by the way, is Stripes, is pretty epic.
For a beauty company, it was great. Yeah.
Now, Cara, you've been in the beauty industry a long time too, and you say that Naomi, as a founder, is a cut above. What do you mean by this? How does this manifest itself in a meeting?
You don't want to know. No, Naomi is incredible, but I have worked in the beauty industry a long time, and I've seen everything from celebrities, being a part of a campaign, which is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Or, endorsing a product, which is beautiful. Or founding a company that I've seen, may or may not care that much about. I've seen...
It's a name on a label, and that's okay too.
I've seen all of it, and some of it's okay, and some of it, isn't.
Go there.
And, yeah, I think, as consumers, we make our own choices, right? And when I met Naomi and learned about the mission of the brand, this is, a deeply personal thing for her. It's her life's work. Yes, she's a working actress, and an incredible one at that, and, that's a big part of her day job, but Naomi, she was not only have I founded this company, but I've written a book, and she's kind of emerged as one of the foremost leaders in this space just because of the advocacy that she feels so passionately for women. So I was looking for that as a business person, as a woman who wants to work with other women who truly believe in what they do. And I also know that having worked in the beauty industry for so long and understanding the consumer so deeply, that it's that authenticity and that genuine commitment that the consumer understands right away, whether it's real or whether it's not. And I believe that's the difference maker in a brand. So that's really what Stripes is. That's what Naomi is. And we should all find that in the work that we do. I certainly have.
Talk about the authenticity, and there's something about the branding. Not something. It's just genius, the branding, because you've taken out any taboo. The names are brilliant. It's sleek, it's cool, it's modern, it's tongue-in-cheek. You wanted it to feel this way, I'm presuming. There's not a mistake. You were like, let's just own this.
I mean, again, it's not all doom and gloom. This is something that you can take agency over. And if you have the education, if you have the community, and the products, we wanted to put a smile on her face, say, we see you, we are you, we know you. And so, it's no surprise that our best-selling product is Badge of Honor.
Can we talk about the names? How much fun is one of those meetings?
We brainstorm, and, sometimes
you text each other in the middle of the night.
We have PTSD right now because we're naming a few new products that you guys are going to love. One of them is in a sexual category, and one's in a body category, and I cannot tell you the number of pleasure, potion, we're throwing things out there. And
I think we have a great audience here who might be able to help us name a couple of products. Maybe that's for later. We can open it to the floor later.
Well, you hinted at this, but it's the trademark, so we have to find things we like and we can reveal.
But these products, yes, it's menopause and perimenopause, but also great for anyone. I'm personally obsessed with evening wear. It's the night moisturizer, and I literally was using it last week. I put a whole layer on, slathered on. I woke up in the morning, and my skin it looked like I'd had 4 hours more sleep than I'd actually had. And it was dewy, but dewy in the best way, not like after hot flash. But they can be used for anyone, right?
Absolutely. And for men, too. I mean, they're really about hydration.
Right.
That is the key focus for all of our products. And we have ingredients that really target dehydrated, sensitive, irritated skin. And so, it just so happens that it was designed with myself in mind. That it was hopefully going to connect with the rest of the audience, because we know, but I didn't know this going in, by the way, that dry skin is very much a part of your journey as a woman going through perimenopause and menopause, from scalp to vag.
Scalp
literally
to vag,
everything.
ladies.
That's our tagline, our byline.
I'm kind of interested in the men thing, though. That's something I never even thought about. Has Billy used yours? Do you like the scalp just missing?
Without getting too personal, there's definitely one product that he benefits from. But no, he's not a product person.
Au natural.
Yeah.
Au natural. Naomi, you doubled down on the entire conversation around menopause by writing a book, dare I say it. It's everything I wish I'd known about menopause, but you didn't. Now, it's a very personal story. You talk about your journey, you talk about medication, your mental health, like everything, your sex life. Was there any hesitations going into this when you were writing?
Absolutely.
There was.
Especially my industry. I thought it would be a career ender, career suicide.
But didn't someone say career suicide to you at some point? Wasn't that a...
No, someone said another, much worse version of that. And this is a morning show, isn't it? So are we allowed to
It's okay, we can
swear?
bleep it. Yeah, go for it.
Can bleep it. Yeah.
Sorry, EP.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Jill gave us the okay.
Thank you,
okay.
Jill. Get ready. Yeah, I was told that, because I got started in Hollywood late and I better put my foot on the gas because, there reaches a point where it's all over. And I said, well, when? When is that? He said, around 40. And I said, what do you mean? Why? Well, when you become unable. Exactly. Right?
Guess I'm there.
How shocking is that? There was the line. And I'm like, but why are you on at 40?
Wow.
Yeah, because no babies are coming, and then it's just shocking. I think we've moved on as a society in, major ways since that was said. And I was in my 20s, my late 20s when that was said. But it took flipping the script, changing the narrative to say, actually, we're really great in bed. Because we know what we like, and there's nothing more of a turn on than a woman saying, this is what I want, and I'm looking for pleasure, not just pleasing.
Confidence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, well said. Cara, having since joined the brand, have you heard any of responses from women that really shake you, that really stay with you, just based on, the products?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every day.
Really?
We do. We have an incredible response from the community. I think they appreciate two things. Number one is the products themselves. They really are efficacious. They're clinically backed. The ingredients are specifically formulated for aging skin. So when people try the products, they genuinely love them. Our Full Monty, which is our body oil, it's a vitamin C body oil for radiance. It's life-changing as much as a body oil can be. It's incredible. So
Smells delicious,
it's
by the way.
amazing. But as well, the stigma breaking, the community, and the humor. People appreciate that that we have a bit of fun with it, and that yes, we're talking about sometimes symptoms that can be quite annoying, and they're not always funny. Women are actually suffering, and we want to change that. But the fact that we're speaking about it, so we do get responses from the community on, thank you so much for sharing that, and then this actually worked for me. Those two things are huge, and I'll always remember actually one of my first times traveling with Naomi, we were in an airport, and she's done incredible work and is world famous, and this woman came over to us and stopped her. She's like, thank you so much for the work you do around menopause. That's
so didn't ask for a selfie, but wanted to talk about.
I think maybe she wanted to. No, she didn't want it. She just wanted to say thank you for having this conversation.
How did that feel, Naomi?
It happens a lot, actually. And sometimes they do ask for the selfie. And, the minute someone comes up, I'm like, oh, God, I haven't got my lippy on. And, and then they actually say, no, I'm not looking for a selfie. I'm looking for a hug. I'm tears in their eyes saying, thank you for giving me the courage to open this conversation with my husband or my children, my family. And that is so meaningful. And that is why I took the risk. That is why I said, I don't care. It would be a bummer if my career's over, but I feel like if I can make a difference to one person who can tell it to somebody else, who can tell it to somebody, then that is the kind of purpose I'm looking for in my life.
It's incredible.
At this stage.
That's a legacy.
Thank you.
Completely. No, it's incredible. You mentioned if I can help, there's how do guys talk about Like, do you help any men? Do you explain it to men? Because I'm like, I don't think they have a clue.
Yeah, some, particularly English men, actually.
God forbid.
I remember, yeah, exactly. Oh, really? I don't think so. You know, like, can you off? I'll show you menopause.
You've seen nothing yet.
But no, I mean, sharing it with my husband, because we met right at the beginning of my symptoms, like, or no, not at the beginning, right in the midst.
Wow.
And that didn't feel super hot. I felt very ashamed. And in fact, I say it in the book, one of the stories at the very, you know, when we're first getting down to business, I had to excuse myself and not to slip into something more comfortable. I didn't just happen to have a negligee in my purse. I had to remove my patch, my estrogen patch, because I'm sure he'd never seen such a thing. And I was in the bathroom, and if anyone's ever worn an estrogen patch, you know they don't come off easily. They're very adhesive, and they leave a nasty mess.
It's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And so I'm in there trying to scratch it off. No. And Billy's like, is everything okay? Are you not in the mood? And I just was like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, I'm just going to tell him. And I came out, and he could see I was a bit shaken. And I said, look, I just, you know, I'm in my 40s, right? And, you know, and late in my 40s. And you know, I've got these symptoms, and I have to wear this medicine. And, you know, it's menopause. Should I just leave? and he was like, oh, my God, thank you for telling me. It's so good you're getting treatment. What can I do? How can I help? And I was like, wow, that is intimacy right there.
Wow, that's hot. Well done, Billy. That's an incredible story.
So my answer to your question is, try it out on men.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, most times they want to help. They just have to be included in the conversation. So you have to give them the education, open it up, lead them, and yeah, help them through. And you see it now. The conversation has been open and alive for a good few years, and I have seen the shift take place.
Well, thanks to you guys. Cara, how are you seeing it shift for the better?
Well, I think a good example is actually our latest brand campaign. No, but
P.S. Can we talk about Hotter Than Ever?
But it is
so good.
Yeah. Well, we started the brand. Naomi started the brand, and we do a lot of talking about menopause, like quite specifically, the symptoms, and you know, galvanizing around that, and treatment, and like our products are very treatment and solution oriented. But another part of menopause we wanted to uncover was not menopause itself, but rather this era of our midlife that is, in many ways, like, screw what society has been telling us. We are not past our prime. We are not winding down. Like, we looked around us, me in particular, and I'm seeing all of these women who are accomplishing more than they ever have, reinventing themselves, starting a new chapter, writing a book. My 78-year-old aunt is self-publishing a book right now. Like, there are so many incredible women who, whatever it means for you, but we're doing things. And in many ways, like, we look better than ever. We feel better than ever. And so our campaign is like, embrace that. Midlife is not a crisis, it's a celebration, and you are hotter than ever. So yes, that could mean hot flashes, fine, no problem. But you're also hotter than ever, and we really want women to kind of step into that power. So part of it is like, we will continue to provide the best in terms of, you know, symptom solution products that really treat and care for you, and you know, like, that's part of it. But the other part of it is just reminding women every day, if they need it, like giving them a hat that says hotter than ever, which, by the way, I think you can all still get for free on our site right now. Yeah, we still have. But yeah, like, that midlife is not a crisis, it is a celebration, and you are truly hotter than ever. And that's a big part.
When do you personally feel hotter than ever, metaphorically speaking?
When do I?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like, it's easy to tell other women, and then it's like, how do you really feel? I think women, like, always struggle with that. But for me, I have 3 children. My youngest is 1.5, and it took me a while to feel like myself again.
Yeah.
And I work a big job, and like, I have a lot of responsibilities, but I find the time to like work out and take care of myself, which is a big shift for me. I didn't always used to do that. So I would say I'm feeling hotter than ever.
How about you, Naomi? Yes. Finding your time, by the way, with 3 kids.
Yes.
How old? And they're all under.
I have 1.5, 2.5, and 7.
Yeah.
And she's
Pray for me.
CEO of a company.
Like just say a little.
I don't know
prayer.
how she does it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, well, you have twins, so I don't.
Yeah, but I know no different.
I
3
have
of different
Irish
ages
twins.
is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But she's hotter than ever. How about you, Naomi?
When do I feel my hottest? Yeah, it's like Cara just said. It's so many different things. It's you know, you feel great when you have a great haircut, the old CLB.
How about? Oh yes.
But-
Can we discuss? I can swear. I can't say. Little Bob.
Yes.
She started the Little Bob. Sorry, guys.
No, but
look on
Leslie Bibb
TikTok.
has got full ownership, and I love her for that. And
Jenna
you know,
has
when
now.
I get out of the bath, my temperature is up, and I'm ready. I feel most in my body. I love to dance. That makes me feel hotter than ever. Intimate conversations like the one I just told you about. And who doesn't love it? You know, a little sexy vacation where you can just, forget about where you are and all the struggles in life.
We all need one of those. You know, also I think when you guys are making these incredible business moves, you're doing so much in business, and that is very empowering. That's almost like hotter than ever. Like you make these great decisions and you're selling out of products. You must feel pretty good then.
Yeah, we sold out of, how many now? 2? But we're back.
Going on 2, but like I'm doing everything to avoid that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's
The story she doesn't want.
We are not sold out. Visit stripesbeauty.com.
Is it now? What's the best piece of advice, business-wise, you've ever been given, Cara?
Business-wise, I was actually, I don't know about advice. I think about this a lot, and I was watching something with Michelle Obama this morning, actually, where she said, this has been said over and over, like for me it bears repeating, which is that like you can't do everything at once well, and that's okay, but that life has chapters and seasons. So there's a chapter and a season for everything. And if you're leaning in on one thing, and sometimes the chapters are quite short. It could be like a month or a few weeks where you're like, I haven't really seen my kids much and like whatever, but we're about to announce like XYZ big new partnership. So like everything has chapters and seasons, and it's okay if you let go of like the pressure to have every single thing simultaneously and just own that each thing is gonna happen in its own moment. It does relieve a lot of pressure, I think, as a working woman and mother. It's a big thing I hold on to.
Naomi, you've not got where you have without taking some risks in life. Has there been a risk you've taken that's really paid off?
Well, moving to America.
Oh, that'll do it.
Definitely in my early 20s with one phone number and a few $100s in my pocket.
Really?
Yeah.
So you hear this story like
But that's, a lot of that was naivety. But, you know, if I thought about doing that now, I don't think I would. But, yeah, you do take risks. And
starting a business.
starting
you
a
had
business
a whole career
and,
in itself.
you know, naming myself as the menopause lady, you know.
Poster child, right there.
And I think as you get older, those risks become more necessary and more manageable because you know what failure looks like. We've had it 1,000 times by now, and it's not the end of the world. It's worth experimenting, and it's fun. I think all of our experiences lead us towards knowing how to take on new endeavors, so why not?
You guys came together, you clearly inspire each other. What is the greatest thing about Cara that really kind of...
She's a go-getter. I mean, she's a total baller. She's my mentor. Thank God she's funny, because I can't be around people who are just hard workers. There has to be.
No, God, no.
It has to be fun.
Cara,
Too much time spent, and if you're not laughing all the way through.
She's your work wife.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Honestly, everything about Naomi, like you guys are getting to know her a bit, and she's incredible. But I think She is the founder and the owner. She runs this business, but she puts a lot of trust in her team.
Great.
And I think she leads with passion, emotion, conviction, but the trust piece is a big one, because if you aren't able to delegate and you aren't able to, you know, build a team around you and like watch it soar, but like come back for check-ins, I don't know, I think we've just found like a really beautiful balance as it relates to division of labor. And I appreciate that. And then just looking at a woman who has not taken her foot off the pedal for a second. Like, I will get there too, but like to have other women trailblazing it and doing it first, and to have those role models in real life is huge. It's huge for young women. Like, any one of our daughters or nieces or nephews can look at someone like Naomi and like everything she's done. That menopause lady joke is really funny, but it's true. Like, it's a huge risk, and like you've turned it into this incredible career. Your career is more vibrant than ever. You're an amazing mother. Like, I look at her being a mother to teenagers, and I'm terrified because I'm already scared of my kids. And I'm so scared of them. I won't tell you the story that I told you, but
They're gonna gang up on you.
You know, you need a role model in every respect, as a mother, as a businesswoman, as an incredible like career achiever. So I'm very lucky and blessed. But I also believe in choices in life, and you can make wrong choices or right choices. And when you're very purposeful about like, okay, who do I want to let into my life, and who do I want to be surrounded by? And I made that choice with a lot of thought this time around in working with Naomi, and it's paid off in dividends.
Absolutely. You talk about her career, and you do have something really fun coming up. All's Fair, the legal drama. If anyone's not seen the trailer for this, please watch it. It's the most empowering. It's an all-star cast. You've got Sarah Paulson, Kim Kardashian,
Glenn Close, Niecy Nash.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was that like being on set? Give us a little.
So fun. So fun.
Give me a nugget from set. What's the best
Lots
advice?
of gossip. Yeah, again, a great team of women.
Yeah.
You know, younger than me, a lot of them, but you know, in
it was every stage.
40s, yeah, exactly. 40s, 50s, 60s. Yeah, I mean, look at Glenn. She's amazing.
Did she have any good advice? What was
She's
Glenn's
just,
wisdom?
you know, walks and talks like an absolute queen. You know that she is. she's brilliant. So it was fun. It was nothing but fun, and playing women who are in power. It's, you know, it's heightened reality, of course, but yeah, power suits all the way.
Were you handing out any Stripes products behind the scenes?
Absolutely.
Which one were they all asking for? Which
Naomi,
one did
Kim
Kim
you drop
want?
that in Kim's office yet?
Yeah. Lou.
Kim wanted this one. Is this the one, by the way?
These are
She
the little
carries
minis.
this
in case of emergency, ladies. The travel size.
And I can
Party
testify to this because I was on the Golden Globes red carpet, and I interviewed Naomi. She was walking away, and she pulled her tiny little, it was a small little clutch. She pulls out this mini, on-the-go loop. I'm like, you might need that later. I was like, I love you. I don't know where.
And that was early days as well, where it wasn't so.
It was,
right.
it was, and it's still going. Yeah, it's run out. Actually, I need to re-up on that one. Cara, looking ahead, you mentioned there's some things in the works. Any tip? Any little hints? What's coming up?
Yeah, I can give some hints.
Go on.
We have a lot of exciting new innovations planned for this year and next year. I think innovation is one of the most exciting parts of a business as you scale, because a lot of it is listening to the customer. So for us, it was all about, we literally poll our customers, we meet with them, we do focus groups, and we learn what do you want us to develop? And we're staying true to the mission of the brand, which is still scalp to vag. This is really to address the whole lifestyle and to be a part of all of your solutions. So you'll see a lot of different things coming from us, but one in a very fun, sexy category.
Which we're trying to name?
Which we're trying to name. I think we nailed it.
Oh,
but when it comes out, you guys will let us know how we did. Keep in mind, we had trademark guardrails. One in a fun, sexy category, and one in a really fun, body category. Because as I said, our body oil is one of our best sellers. I think it's actually going to be our best seller soon, even ahead of our vaginal SKUs. So it's incredible. So we hear from you that you like body and that dry skin is an issue. So we have something else coming there. And then the brand's going to be expanding both here in the US and potentially globally soon too. So I can't say too much more, but we're really excited about it. And like, there's a group of young women, mostly young, old, all sorts of ages, but like there's a small group of women hustling hard to grow a business all together, and it's really fun.
Naomi, what's next for you? What's in the pipeline? Aside from Stripes, global domination, obviously.
Tomorrow I get to go on vacation, which I'm super excited about. But
she needs it.
I definitely need it, but it was bad planning on my part because in 2 weeks, well, straight after the vacation, I have to come back here and start a new show with Ryan Murphy called American Love Story about Carolyn Bessette and JFK Jr., and I'm playing a certain woman you may know.
Jackie O,
yeah.
Wow, I know.
That's fun.
How impressive. So you're going to be spending the entire 2 weeks mastering the Jackie O
her
accent.
voice, her behaviors, and because we all feel like we know her. She had a very distinctive voice. So it takes a lot of effort.
Have you seen the wardrobe yet?
I have. I've seen some wonderful outfits, yeah.
I mean, and then Ryan's on that. I mean, that is just going to be super hyped. Oh, God. Okay, to close, a quick stages rapid fire.
Oh, dear.
I'll start with you, Cara. What has been your favorite stage of life so far?
This one, 40s.
Naomi.
50s.
So it gets better.
You didn't ask me that.
And in 10 years' time, we'll be saying the 60s, because it's all good.
Which is good for everyone,
absolutely.
Right? Enjoy where you are.
Exactly, and own it. What stage do you never want to go back to?
My 20s.
Cara?
20s.
I think none of us. What, generally?
Yeah.
What are we thinking, 20s? 20s, we're getting lots of nods.
It's painful,
20s,
right?
30s.
But
no,
we were so we knew everything.
To 20s. Okay, 20s, we all messed up. It's okay. The greatest stage performance?
Of mine?
Yeah, no, general. Which we all go watch.
Oh, God, right now. Oh, Mary.
There we go.
Really fun one.
One word you'd use to describe your current stage of life, Cara?
Chaotic.
You look so good for it being
yes,
so
exactly.
You're the
so
most
poised.
Like elevated chaos personified right there.
Yeah.
Soundtrack to your current stage of life.
Changes. Turn and face the strain. And I can't sing, obviously.
Can we change that to stages?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's the Bluey song.
Which one?
Bluey? Yeah. In case you were wondering, is that not?
Can you give us a verse?
No, it's too traumatic.
But if mine was Dora, I think when mine goes alive, I was like, oh, God, no. Or Shark. What was the
Or
Shark?
like Miss Rachel's voice.
Oh, God, horrific. Okay, one thing you're both looking forward to in the next stage.
Bingo.
Legs 11?
Soft foods and bingo.
Cara, beat that.
Mine's like more sappy. I want my little one to walk. He's like so delayed. I don't know if any of you have been there. So every day I'm watching him, I'm like, you can do it, but he's not there yet. So we will throw a walking party.
A walking party. I hope you're there to witness it.
I won't be.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't either. It's all good. Thank you so much, girls. Thank you very much. Thank you
so much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We will be talking about one of my favorite topics, all things women's health, on this incredible panel sponsored by Julissa. So we're going to dive into hormones, skin, gut health, sleep, your autoimmune system, and how all of these things are interconnected, and how it's really important that we focus on them as we age and how they work together, and optimizing them is so critically important. I'll start and then we'll go down the panel. So I am Dr. Michelle Henry. I'm a dermatologist here in Manhattan, we're now in Queens. I do all things dermatology, hair loss, skin cancer surgery, fillers, lasers, liposuction, hair transplant. So I am thrilled to be here to do a deep dive. And fun fact about me, I am just getting into gardening, but I do not have the greenest of thumbs. So if we have any budding Martha Stewarts here, I'm open to any suggestions. I'll pass it on to Dr. Shelby.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shelby Harris. Welcome, everyone. I am a clinical psychologist here in New York City. I specialize in behavioral sleep medicine. So if you know Montefiore Medical Center, I ran their insomnia clinic at their sleep lab for well over a decade before going into private practice. So I work with women, I work for babies to older adults, all different ages, and all different sleep issues, so using evidence-based treatments. Fun fact about me, I was named after the Shelby Mustang from the late 60s.
Very cool.
Hi everyone, I am so happy to be here. I am Dr. Taz Bhatia. I go by Dr. Taz. I'm an integrative health and wellness expert, and I've spent the last 16, 17 years really practicing holistic and integrative medicine, a lot of what everybody's now calling functional medicine, and really puzzle piecing everyone's health back together. It's been such a joy, and it's a huge part of my mission to change the way medicine's being delivered and the way we think about medicine. I focus a lot on gut health and hormone health, and have written and talked a lot about it, talked on the show about it, so I'm just excited to be here.
Fun fact.
Fun fact, oh my gosh. Fun fact, I tried to be a country music singer in Nashville when I was a teenager.
Oh, that's awesome. Is this working? Okay. That's awesome. My name is Dr. Natalie Azar. Many of you probably, my fans, no, I'm kidding. So obviously many of you know me from the Today Show. I am, in fact, an associate professor of rheumatology at NYU. That's where I did all my training after medical school, and I'm in private practice there for so many years and counting. Let's see, what am I supposed to talk about? Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna talk a lot about it today, but obviously rheumatologists deal with everything autoimmune, as well as bone and joint health. And fun fact about me, I have a couple of them. One is that I consider my dog a real human child.
Yes.
And the second one is, and this is kind of funny, you know, for senior year in high school when you have to put something down as like either your dream or what you're gonna be. And I remember I said that I was going to be a psychiatrist. My dad was a psychiatrist, and I wanted to be the host of my own talk show.
Amazing, you manifested.
But journalism and media came very serendipitously, so it's not like I planned it.
Good, strong work. So we'll dive into sleep first, which I'm sure many of us can't get enough of it. I know I can't. And we know that sleep is so important any age or any stage of life, but life gets in the way. You're juggling life, kids, work, aging. What is important, or why is it so important to prioritize sleep? And what's your go-to advice for women that aren't getting enough sleep as we age, whether it's from insomnia or just waking up throughout the night?
Yeah, people often talk about sleep as being one of the pillars of health. And I would actually argue that it's really the bedrock that all the pillars are built upon, because sleep is so important for so many things in our bodies, whether it's cardiovascular health, whether it's weight management, mood, cognitive function, just our quality of life, so many things it's really important for. So when you think about like diet and exercise, you get more out of it if you're actually sleeping. So sleep is that thing that we really need to be trying to prioritize if you're working on other things in life. So things that I think about with women, so many things, but the first thing I always think about is like, just don't let anyone tell you that poor sleep is normal as we go through life, because it is not. And it is normal to have episodes of poor sleep, but we have very good treatments for it. So don't be told that you can suffer or you should suffer, because that's normal. So what are things that I recommend? So first of all, I always say, like, people like to use alcohol for sleep, or they're using medication. We have non-medication approaches, CBT for insomnia, for example. there's really good things to try, whether it's avoiding alcohol, limiting the screen exposure that really, like, it's not even just the blue light, it's what are you looking at night that's keeping you up, because usually it's the binge watching. For me, it's the bear right now that's keeping you up, right? All that sort of stuff. And also just stress management. Stress impacts sleep so much. So if you think there's any sort of hormonal component, definitely talking with your gynecologist about that. Don't accept poor sleep. And the one other thing I would add is that snoring and sleep apnea is very common as women start to age, especially once they hit perimenopause. So if a lot of times it gets missed, people don't actually get asked about it, definitely bring it up if there's any sort of pauses in your breathing at night, because that could actually be the insomnia that's going on. You wake up because you're having sleep apnea. So definitely bring it up.
Absolutely brilliant. You answered almost all of my questions. But I have one more for you. What's one myth about sleep you wish women would let go of, especially when it comes to beauty sleep or aging?
So I think that there's the biggest myth is that there's really that there's a magic number of sleep, like you should be getting 8 hours and that's the perfect number. It really isn't. They get the 8 because it's between 7 to 9 hours, really. That's it. So 8 is just an easy thing to say. You should really be sleeping what feels the most restorative for you. For some people, that's 7 hours. Some people, that's 9. Find that magic number for you. And sleep is really important for beauty sleep because when you're sleeping, you go through different stages of sleep throughout the night. We have deep sleep, we have light sleep, we have REM sleep. They all have important parts to them. But during that deep stage of sleep that happens throughout the night, but the most in that first third of the night, that's when collagen production happens. And when you're getting better quality sleep, we actually find that it helps with, we've seen circles under your eyes. And there are people who might have poor sleep or apnea where it's actually impacting their skin quality, puffiness under the eyes. So sleep the amount that's good for you, and if the quality of it's not good, definitely bring that up with your doctor.
Excellent. I have actually a personal question. Yeah. What about catching up on sleep? So sometimes in the week I can only get, maybe 4 hours, but then I can sleep for 10 on the weekend. How dangerous is that?
Not dangerous. I think the thing with catching up with sleep is that a lot of people miss too much sleep in the middle of the week that you can't make up enough on the weekend. So it's fine to do it once in a while, but if you're constantly missing 2 hours every single night, good luck sleeping an extra 10 hours on the weekend. Yeah. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
But it's totally fine.
Yes. I try. I fail often, but I try. So now we're going to dive a little bit into our autoimmune health, plus our joint and bone health as we age. We know that autoimmune diseases disproportionately affect women, often beginning in early adulthood. So Dr. Natalie, why is this the case? And what are the most common autoimmune diseases that you're seeing in your office?
So, we could very oversimplify and say that autoimmune diseases preferentially affect women because of hormones, and that is definitely true. So our exposure to estrogen throughout our lifetimes is definitely a risk factor. But there are also evolutionary explanations for this. So for example, during pregnancy, that there is a heightened inflammatory and immune response in pregnancy that was perhaps something that was going to benefit us in terms of survival, which I think is kind of just neat from an historic perspective. Or sociological perspective. And then there's also genetics. So I don't know if you guys were aware, and this, even a lot of this genetics is a little bit above my pay grade, but there was an enzyme or sort of a process that was discovered about a year ago, something called Exist, which basically says that the reason that women are at a higher risk for autoimmune diseases is because of our X chromosome. So the next time that you're having an argument with a spouse or your brother or your son about which sex is superior, you can basically tell them that we can survive without a Y chromosome. We do it all the time. But having 2 X chromosomes is actually not a great thing. And one of our X chromosomes is kind of turned off or dampened as when I'm not even sure when that happens, perhaps embryogenesis or after. And that process can actually trigger some inflammatory and immune responses that could actually increase the risk of autoimmunity. So in terms of the diseases that are most common, so the most common type of arthritis is osteoarthritis, which is not considered an autoimmune disease. But the kinds of autoimmune diseases that rheumatologists treat are definitely names that probably many of you have heard of: lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, myositis, scleroderma, Sjogren's syndrome. Those are sort of the classic rheumatologic diseases that we see in rheumatology.
Yes. We see some of that in dermatology as well. And something I see a lot and I experience a lot as I'm thinking about standing up here, I'm worried about my knees a little bit because they're starting to fail me. And I think a lot of us as we get older, we start to see those early signs of arthritis. What symptoms are commonly overlooked? How do you help your patients distinguish between normal aging and the early signs of autoimmune conditions like lupus or rheumatoid arthritis?
It's a great question. And I think at one point in our lives, all of us will experience joint pain for various different reasons. And one of the most common reasons that people end up going to a rheumatologist is chronic low back pain. And so how do we distinguish what's just benign sort of degenerative disc disease from a more serious underlying issue? I think one thing that we teach medical students and we teach residents, and you guys are all aware of, we start to think about considering an autoimmune disease when joint pain is also associated with some symptoms in other organ systems. So if you have joint pain, but you also have rashes, you have joint pain with profound fatigue, you have joint pain associated with GI symptoms, or shortness of breath or hair loss, then we start to invoke maybe there's an underlying autoimmune or systemic illness that's causing these symptoms, and maybe it's manifesting first as joint pain. As I mentioned, osteoarthritis, the most common type of arthritis, tends to happen as we get older. We use the terms osteoarthritis with degenerative wear and tear. So in the knees and the hips, and grandma had a knee replacement, that usually tells us that it's probably osteoarthritis. So the pattern of the arthritis, and this is all, by the way, in the history. So when you come to us and see us in the office, we let you talk. And you tell us about when the joint pain started, how long it's been going on, is it worse in the morning, is it worse at night, is this associated with warmth or swelling or prolonged morning stiffness, and then we start getting into all the other questions I asked, bowel symptoms, skin symptoms, and that's how we kind of generate for us what we call a differential diagnosis, what's the most likely, second, third, and down the line, and we do labs and imaging to help us get to a diagnosis.
So oftentimes when we're starting to feel sluggish, not our best selves, we're told to exercise. Get out there, exercise, it's good for you. But when it comes to these autoimmune conditions, is it good for you? Is it going to make you hurt more if you're having a flare? Should you lay off of the exercise a bit?
So if I can leave our audience with two pearls from today, or two conditions where exercise has to be recommended more cautiously. First, let me tell you that almost across the board, we will recommend exercise for our patients. Even in the setting of inflammatory arthritis like rheumatoid, even in the setting of having knee osteoarthritis, there's always something that patients can do, and they can avoid the area that hurts. We rely on physical therapists, obviously, a great deal. There are two conditions where exercise can actually make people worse. One is, or needs to be nuanced in terms of how it's done. And one is in hypermobility syndromes. Maybe people have heard of something called Ehlers-Danlos. These are collagen disorders where your collagen is a little bit weaker. You're born like this. And instead of your collagen making these nice, tight crosslinks that support all of your joints and muscles and everything, you're very loose and you're very lax. And sometimes, and these individuals can really experience a lot of soft tissue injury if they're not careful about how they exercise, and physical therapists do wonders with them. The other condition is something called chronic fatigue syndrome. The proper name for chronic fatigue syndrome is a mouthful, so get ready. It's ME/CFS, which stands for myalgic encephalomyelitis chronic fatigue syndrome. About half of patients with long COVID meet criteria for this. This is a situation where significant physical or mental overexertion can actually make people worse, and they experience a crash a few hours or a day after overexertion. So those are the two little exceptions where we have to give exercise recommendations with a little bit of nuance, but otherwise I tell everyone, as a blanket, do whatever you enjoy, mix it up, keep it interesting. All data points, especially to knee arthritis, that physical therapy and weight loss and exercise works better than any pill.
Can I add on one thing?
Absolutely.
So exercise is fantastic, but if you're thinking about incorporating it, to limit it within 3 hours of bed. So vigorous exercise. You can do like stretching, walks, things like that, but you don't want to raise your body temperature up too much because that can actually impact being able to fall asleep. So build in that exercise, just try to think about the timing of it a little bit.
Fantastic tip. So osteoarthritis, that knee pain often, is very loud. What about something that's a little bit quieter, osteoporosis? So this is a silent disease. What age should women start thinking about bone density? And how can they proactively protect their bones before a fracture?
Your parents should be thinking about bone density from the minute you're born. So something that I think the media, the press sometimes gets wrong in terms of communicating that calcium and vitamin D doesn't prevent fractures, and the communication on this gets so confusing that patients actually think, maybe I don't need calcium and vitamin D. Wrong. We need calcium and vitamin D throughout our lifetimes. And for those of you who have kids now or are planning on having children, they need calcium throughout childhood. Adolescence and puberty is the most important time for children, especially to make sure that they're getting adequate calcium. It doesn't need to be dairy, but they need to get it. It's the period of most rapid bone growth. We reach our peak bone mass around, or like about 95% of our bone mass, we reach it around age 20. 100% of our bone mass is reached at age 30. And then for women and men, but for women, we have a very slow decline until menopause, and then we fall off a cliff. Bone density recommendations are really late. It's age 65 for a woman at average risk. You're supposed to get your bone density for the first time at age 65. For men, it's age 70. However, if you have risk factors for osteoporosis, whether it's vitamin D deficiency, autoimmune diseases, chronic steroid use, and there's a pretty lengthy list, your doctor absolutely can do a bone density before the age of 65 to screen for osteoporosis.
I'm going to jump in real quickly because I don't like that age 65. Yeah. We're doing some screening in our clinics, and we're finding osteopenia in our young high school girls, especially with the focus on athletics and all this other stuff without the nutrition to support that athleticism. We're seeing bone loss in like 19-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and so we're trying to educate them that let's not wait till 60 to screen. That's too late.
Especially whether it's eating disorders or celiac, which can affect women throughout their lifetimes. But that's why it's important to have a conversation with your doctor about if screening is right for you. And remember, these recommendations largely come from something called the United States Preventive Services Task Force, which is great, and they do need to exist, but their whole point is more like at a population level. What is the risk benefit of doing a screening test in the general population? Are we going to capture enough people that it makes the screening test worth it? And that's their purpose. But the problem is that a lot of medical coverage from insurance companies goes by what the task force says. So we're kind of stuck a little bit. But like I said, I've never had a problem getting a bone density approved under the age of 65 when it's to look for, for osteoporosis for obvious reasons.
Excellent. And as you just mentioned, a lot of this is wrapped into hormones and also our gut health. And so, gut health has become an active conversation even in the dermatology world. So let's dive into that a little bit with Dr. Taz. So first, midlife is a roller coaster. Lots of things are happening. What are some changes that might signal that something deeper is happening? So maybe menopause or hormonal changes.
Definitely. Well, midlife is a roller coaster for both men and women, I would say. And I think the first thing that most people notice, what catches their attention, is usually a change in body composition. And that is typically what makes somebody book an appointment, right? And they're complaining about maybe some new belly fat. They're doing the same workouts. They're doing absolutely everything they used to do before, but nothing's changing, and there's this change in body composition that they can't explain. A lot of that is rooted in what Chinese medicine, older systems of medicine have been talking about for centuries, this connection between your gut health and what your hormones are actually doing. So, the two talk to each other. It's bidirectional. They communicate. I think conventionally we were all trained to think of like a hormone in a single vessel and gut health in a single vessel, whereas in reality, all of them are communicating and talking to each other. So as we hit midlife or perimenopause, if we're talking about women, or andropause if we're talking about men, there's a shift in the microbiome. And that shift in microbiome is being caused by multiple factors. It's caused by the drop in hormone levels. So the first hormone to go for most women, and this is shifting earlier, which I think is concerning, but the first hormone to drop is usually progesterone, and then behind it, as you get further into perimenopause and then into menopause, of course, is estrogen. For men, they're seeing that shift in testosterone. You guys have seen the headlines talking about how men now, younger and younger, are having that drop in testosterone. And then across the board, even with our children, we're seeing higher and higher levels of cortisol. That hormone soup is changing the microbiome to where you can't, metabolize things the same way you once did. It's resulting in higher blood sugar levels, higher insulin levels. That's the visceral fat and the belly fat and the change in body composition. Now, we can switch it the other way too, which is why this conversation gets a little bit complicated, where if the gut's not working well, and the gut, remember, is ground zero for your health, meaning you're not digesting well, you're not absorbing your nutrients really well, you might be fat spilling or losing things because of sort of a lack of a good gut lining, then that in turn triggers these hormone changes faster. So you have this like two-lane highway basically that's communicating with each other, and they're so important for one another. A lot of times people talk about not just weight gain, but like, why are their hormones off, or why can't we clear environmental estrogens, or why can't we clear the estrogen that we ourselves are making, right? Why is there more PCOS or endometriosis or all these different conditions? And they're actually bacteria, we know in science now, in research, showing that certain bacteria are responsible for clearing estrogen out of your system, for helping with testosterone metabolism, for helping with many of these things. So, when we're managing a lot of these things around sleep or around autoimmune disease, there's this opportunity, before you get a diagnosis, before like things really hit a wall, there's this huge opportunity to really dial into where is your gut health? What are your hormones doing? And I would say same thing. I think it needs to start with our kids, because I think the foundation for a lot of what we're seeing later on in adulthood and midlife actually starts with our children, our adolescents, and then we just see it kind of compound upon itself over and over again. So gut health is the foundation. Older systems of medicine have talked about this for thousands of years. The research is now, showing that, proving that, talking about the importance. And I would say when we say gut health in this sort of broad, big category, what we're actually talking about scientifically is, what is the microbiome doing? What is your digestion doing? Do you have intestinal malabsorption? How are you able, to go to the bathroom? What's your motility look like? And then do you have some of the symptoms of reflux and bloating and these things that patients often complain about? But sometimes they don't even have the symptoms, but they're starting to show inflammatory symptoms or rashes, right? Or sleep disorders, all these different things that you can dial all the way back down to the gut. So that's why many people, when they have a gut-focused plan, sleep does get better, hormones do stabilize a little bit, and that sort of waterfall of inflammation starts to dial down to a certain extent. Now, once you're in a full-fledged disease mode, you have a diagnosis of rheumatoid or osteo or any of these actual diagnoses, that whole thing is still important, but it takes longer and longer and longer to see results. So that's why I feel like the opportunity is there way earlier, way before these diagnoses actually show up.
Yeah, I would add too, is that you were saying that body composition changes you see is one of the early signs. Sleep disturbance is the other big thing. I see so many women in their late 30s coming into my practice. They've been great sleepers their whole lives, never had a problem, and then they start having insomnia, and it's often because they're starting to go through perimenopause, and we need to address it, and it's something that gets missed all the time.
Yeah. As you said, gut health is not just about food. It affects our mood, our sleep, our skin, our immunity. What are some things that we can do to control that? So in terms of our diet, are there special diets that can help? Plant-based, gluten-free, dairy-free, keto? Is it hype or is it hope? What is it?
Yes, the diet madness, right? Like, what is the right diet? So I think, everyone has a story and everyone has an individual story, and, it takes some effort and time to figure that out. But if we're going to talk about a general rule of thumb, what I think we all have consensus on is that an anti-inflammatory diet is really home-based, and we should be all at least starting there. That's your starting point. And when we talk about an anti-inflammatory diet, we're basically talking about getting in, majority plant-based foods, like at least 50-60% of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. So plant-based is whole food, real food, not grain-based food necessarily. And then getting in some good sources of protein and then healthy fats are a very important part of that anti-inflammatory diet. I think where people get really tripped up is, you know, when they're trying to prioritize how they tackle a diet, I would actually encourage them, the more we're understanding the role of environmental toxins, glyphosate, some of these type of things when it comes to gut health and when it comes to hormone health and when it comes to our children's health too, I would say the first priority is actually your food sourcing and food quality, right? Before you start getting all confused about what has gluten and what has dairy and all that other stuff. I feel like that's now becoming more important than ever before. And then I think the second is removing, you know, processed foods, packaged foods, high sugar foods. That's probably step two. And then step three is trying to get your head wrapped around this anti-inflammatory way of eating and making it a lifestyle. And whether you're traveling or you're in carpool or, you know, whatever you're doing, you're still consciously making those choices as you move throughout the day. That makes a huge difference. We know that the toxins, the glyphosate, you know, gluten, the way it's processed currently, dairy, and it's a lot about the processing. Dairy, the way it's processed in certain places, excessive meat, you know, all of these things in excess, right, and with poor quality are leading to a lot of different issues with the gut, and then shifting the microbiome and then triggering inflammation. So I just had a patient yesterday who was like, why am I better every time I go to Europe? I eat whatever I want, I do whatever I want, but I'm 100% better every time I go to Europe. And I would dial her all the way back to this idea of what we're getting exposed to and how it's impacting the gut.
I have to say that I hear that all the time from my patients too, and just to put a check mark next to that, I advise an anti-inflammatory diet for all of my patients, from fibromyalgia to, you know, overweight with knee osteoarthritis and autoimmune disease. Some people still don't know exactly what that means when I say a Mediterranean diet, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay, you know, but I basically, it's whole food, plant-based, nothing processed, and that's a good starting point.
Amazing. So one more question, then we're going to jump into some rapid fire questions. So in dermatology, we talk a lot about GLP-1s because they are anti-inflammatory. And so in many ways can help a lot of skin conditions. What is your take on GLP-1s? Is it okay for quick weight loss? You know, a lot of people are talking about microdosing it. What's the deal? What are the pros? What are the cons?
Okay, you've put me in the hot seat. So, all right, GLP-1s, like everything, there's a time and place for everything, all right? If someone is having a lot of issues like BMIs, basal metabolic index, which I know is not the best number, but maybe let's say they've really struggled with weight and obesity, and they have done all the things and they're not seeing an effort. A standard dosing of a GLP-1, I think, is okay. Here's where we struggle a little bit. So GLP-1s do indeed, you know, cut food noise. They do help bring inflammation down. They balance out blood sugar, which is honestly one of the primary reasons why people are on this roller coaster of craving certain foods or wanting certain foods, because they're riding the highs and lows of blood sugar. So GLP-1s do help to calm that down, and we've seen some incredible things in practice. Now, the standard dosing of a GLP-1 is appropriate for the patient who is obese, who is diabetic, who is in a really tough spot when it comes to weight loss. But that's not always the majority, at least, of the people that I see. I don't know about you guys. A lot of the people I see are, you know, in that sort of midlife shift or have PCOS or endometriosis or these different conditions of insulin resistance, but they're not necessarily obese. They've changed for some reason over time. What we are finding is that when they have done the work of an anti-inflammatory diet, proper movement, proper sleep, because sleep really does impact blood sugar and insulin regulation, and they're still stuck, I actually do like microdosing the GLP-1s. And the reason I like microdosing, and I actually prefer the tirzepatide over the semaglutide, because the goal is not blocking food noise when I'm prescribing it. The goal is more, can we get better blood sugar stability and better liver health metabolism of glucose versus just stopping someone from eating. So when you microdose, what you're doing is you're still maintaining their appetite. You guys should still be eating, you know, the right grams of protein in a given day to preserve muscle mass. You should still be hydrating so you have good gut motility. A lot of times we'll support it with digestive enzymes or something called glutamine, which again preserves the integrity of the gut. And when you do it in sort of this sort of well thought out strategic way, patients don't have to stay on it forever, you know? And I think when the GLP-1s first came out, I was like, no, we're not doing that. Like, it was like a flat no. There's nothing natural about that. There's nothing holistic. We're not doing that. But then as I got my head wrapped around it, I think the problem I was having with it was this, you're gonna be on it forever, end of the story, you know? And then there are GI implications of that. There are gut health implications to being on it forever. There's muscle wasting that happens with being on it forever. So I think as we started to work with it and brought in the idea of microdosing and pairing it with sort of this holistic gut strategy, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
And it's been a game changer for many patients.
I want to add, and Shelby, you too?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think we could spend an entire day on GLP-1s,
Next
obviously.
panel.
And I think it's interesting that Dr. Taz is, you know, sort of said her immediate reaction was no. I think many of us in medicine who trained, I think I might be a little older than you, trained during fen-phen. I don't know if you guys remember that, right? And pulmonary hypertension, it was pulled from the market. And that was in an era where we truly believed that overweight and obesity was a behavioral failure, where it was calories in versus calories out, and the person just must not be eating the right things or eating too much or not exercising enough. So fast forward to now, and we have a much better understanding of the biology of overweight and obesity. And just as an anecdote, and I said this on air too, and I think that this really resonates with a lot of people. In my own practice, we don't prescribe it yet because it's not FDA approved yet for our diseases, but it's coming. The Lilly, they're already doing studies in psoriasis and psoriatic arthritis, and we're going to see it. I have had numerous patients who are on biologic therapies, Enbrel, Humira, very strong immunosuppressives, who are doing well from an arthritis perspective, but still have a persistent elevation of, you know, CRP and SED rates in their blood, and they don't go down. And then they go on GLP-1 for other reasons, and for the first time in 10 or 15 years, they have normal inflammatory markers, and the light bulb goes off, and then we see, oh my goodness, these drugs are doing way more than just controlling diabetes and controlling weight. So stay tuned. As we know, it's, you know, we already have tirzepatide approved for obstructive sleep apnea. It's approved to treat liver disease. It's approved to slow down progression of kidney disease in people with cardiovascular disease. So I think we're going to see a lot more applications of GLP-1s, and I thank you so much for that microdosing bit of information, because one of the biggest concerns, of course, is the muscle wasting. People are falling and fracturing, and I think we need to know how to implement them safely and chronically or not.
In sleep medicine, it has been a game changer. Just over the past few months. I mean, it's for people who have moderate to severe documented sleep apnea, who have weight-related sleep apnea, but we've had so few options of what treatments are that for years they've been saying, lose weight, diet, exercise. It's not been enough. So the tirzepatide has been a game changer in apnea.
Yep, same in dermatology, but that's a next time, next panel. But I would like to give a round of applause for our brilliant panelists here. I know I feel more empowered, and I hope that you all feel more empowered as well. And then a second round of applause for all of you for being here, focusing on your health, and we wish you an excellent day. Thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am so grateful to be here, and they gave me a stack of cards. This is what I have, so just like cut me off when you want me to stop talking. Originally, you know, when they asked me about Laura and I have been through makeups and breakups and divorce and cancer and late nights at QVC and like a lot together. So I felt like she's in like my fabric. And Julissa is a new friend, but an old friend of many of you and of Shop Today. So you know, you get to a point in life and you talk about stages, and just so you know, that if you missed it, Naomi Watts said that some version of that, of being unable at 40, so I feel like we have free reign. You know what I mean?
Oh,
After
yeah.
that.
She broke the crowd.
Right, like I think we're good. But really, getting back to purpose, I want to talk about, first of all, if you could just, you know, we know the headline. So this is what they wrote about you, okay? She's the founder of the iconic makeup brand Laura Geller Beauty, who's made it her mission for nearly 30 years to help millions of women feel more confident at any age. Okay, so that's the, like, AI version. What at this stage do you want people to know about you? What's the headline?
I think for me, I started out as a makeup artist for celebrities, TV, film, theater. But the most gratification I got was when I worked doing real women that wanted to feel empowered. And for me, I think the biggest gratification that I get, because I'm not doing makeup anymore and I miss it, is that when I see somebody say just what you said to me, that you love my makeup, or that I've made your life more simple or more goof-proof and you enjoy using it, or that you're learning things from me. To me, that is the most gratification. It's so much sexier than saying I did so-and-so, because I did so many amazing faces in my lifetime. So I think—
Who's like the one when you like stand out that you're like, ah, like a beauty?
Audrey Hepburn.
Right.
Audrey Hepburn.
Right.
I mean, I know I look good, right? I mean, it was when she was much older that I had done her, and actually she was ill when I was doing her, but—
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
and still the most.
And still the most poised, beautiful woman, but like sometimes I forget the amount of people that I've done. And she was just elegant and gorgeous, if you could ever imagine, and kind. So yeah, but I think just being able to talk to you and say, do you like my makeup? Or if you didn't hear of the brand, it's nice to meet you, because I never assume that everybody knows Laura Geller Beauty. We've been around for a million years, but it's not, we're not everywhere. So this, to me, this opportunity to speak to you face to face, thank you, Stages, thank you, Jill, for having me, is everything to me. I don't get to have that interfacing,
especially
often.
like post-COVID, it's like everything. I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, yay, love you. Okay, Julissa Prado, am I saying it? Okay. Trailblazer in the hair care industry, founder of the viral curly hair brand, Rizos. My mom's a Spanish teacher, good. Curls, right? I said it right. Curls that encourage women to embrace their natural curls. So what I love, two things. When we were getting ready in the green room, you were using a pick and like flipping your hair, and that took me right to the years I peaked in the 80s. But also that, somebody said to me, I don't know who, I think it was Lisa. Lisa? Where's Lisa? She said, oh, your skin's so beautiful. And I said, thank you so much. I grew up with really bad skin, and they called me pizza face. And so when somebody says that now, I'm like, wow, thank you, like my skin. You grew up in a, again, pain into purpose, I'm not gonna say it over and over, but you grew up in our age group, which straight hair was the thing. And I have really curly hair too, and like you were agonizing, because it must have been not only hard to get your hair straight, but you probably didn't want to fully, right?
Yeah, so it's really interesting, because I've always felt that my self-love journey started in loving the thing that I hated most about myself. I think that, and I see that so much in so many other people, and
that's so powerful, loving the thing that I hated most about myself. That's
yeah,
really...
and I see that same kind of trait in so many other people, whether it's, for me it was my hair, for others it could be like their skin, it can be their socioeconomic background, it could be any quality, but it's almost as if once I learned to love that piece of me that I hated, it was like I unleashed the 2.0 version of me. And not only that, but I truly believe that my purpose then began to help other people go through that same kind of like self-love journey that I had and make their life easier, at least with that little piece of new knowledge that I had learned. And
that's a big piece. Like you have like anyone who has girls. Okay, so like so hard, like whether it's the skin or the hair, you can name it. Like tall, short, medium, whatever. Like there's always something wrong with a young girl. Hair is a tough one, and like we talked about this in the green room and we'll get to it, and Mommy, I'm sorry you have to listen to this stuff, but when I had breast cancer and I lost like 70% of my hair in chemo, and they said, well, people would say you should like basically just be happy you're alive. And it's like, that's like a really low bar. Like I could want to be alive and also want my hair to look like me. Like it looks pretty short, it's just not mine. Like that's not what I had. So like, I think hair is actually, at least for me, and I didn't, that it's so much of so many of our identities. And a girl who I went through it with, Stacey, do you know Stacey Griffith? Does anyone take SoulCycle? She had chemo at the same time as me. We sat in the same room. And she was like, I'm shaving my head. That wasn't part of what she identified with. So I'm sure that it's like such an interesting journey for you.
Yeah.
Like going from something being so painful to being like how you support yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually had a testimonial that really moved me, that kind of reminded me of what you just shared. Is I was at Whole Foods one day shopping, and one of the workers that were working there at Whole Foods, this lady comes up to me and she's like telling me that she had just gone through chemo maybe like 4 years prior and had beat cancer. And what she said, that after going through chemo, her hair grew back completely different. It was curly, but it was a different curl pattern.
Texture, right.
Completely different curl texture, completely different pattern. And she felt like those same feelings that she had felt when she was a little girl, of like having to relearn to love that part of herself, having to go through that journey, that experience of like, who am I, you know? And she said that was her first step towards like reclaiming this new version of her after her surviving cancer, was like just the basics of learning her hair again.
Yeah.
And she said that once she was able to, she used my products, and she went actually like we had like an online curl class, and she attended one of those, etc. And she said that with the products, she was able to, and the education that we provide, she was able to relearn that, and it was like such a huge turning point in that new version of her. She felt like she almost like let go of the person that she used to be, and she became somebody new. And I feel like that testimonial to this day is one that really, really moves me.
Yeah, it's like moments of impact, things people say that you're like, that they resonate with you forever. Like, do you have something that you, like for me, life is calendarized before and after cancer. And when my oncologist gave me the permission to do that, he's like, everything is gonna be calendar. I don't know if he used the word, is that a word, Mom, calendarized? Yeah. Before and after, I felt like it gave me to be like, oh, that was like my marriage, like anything that wasn't working in my life, like that was a chapter, and then I could like start over. It gave me like a new sense of permission. Did you have a moment like that?
Jill, I just want to back up and say, I don't know how many of you, I would imagine all of you, followed Jill's journey. And I want to tell you something. I had people coming up to me telling me that she saved their life. And Jill, you saved so many lives, and you truly turned pain into purpose. You are speaking for so many people that need that help. It's something that, you know, I had breast cancer in 2019. I did not have to go through what Jill had to go through. And I always recognize how fortunate and blessed I am that I did not go what went through. So I never feel that I should be the voice, because I didn't have what you went through. And I want you to know it's powerful, and you have to keep doing what you're doing. I feel like you were put here for a reason. I do. I feel like, and I'm sure you're told this on a regular basis.
Well,
so
I don't want to make this about me. But
no, I just wanted to tell you that.
I really appreciate you saying that, and the reason I'll take it and talk about it is because
you're helping somebody.
Yes, and I'm going to use this as that. But before I even get into this, are there other survivors in the room? Can you stand if you're a survivor? Laura?
I think everybody, whether you are a cancer survivor, everyone in this room has encountered something drastic in their life.
Some level of trauma.
There is nobody that escapes adversity.
Right.
There's nobody. And I think if you come out the other side, you asked me what mine was. 2019, my best friend since I was 10 years old died. Then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. 2020, my mother died. Half of 2020, my sister died. It was a very dark time. And I just have to say, when you ask me how you turn, you know, what was it in my life, those couple of years where I didn't think that I was going to see the light. But you know what? You put we all do it. I'm no different than anybody in this room. You put one foot in front of the other if you're fortunate, and you come out so strong, and then you don't give a F about anything, and there's no more filter, and you get to say what's on your mind because you survived the and let me tell you, we all have the everybody in this room. I know it.
You know, unfortunately, you know, people like Hara, my sister-in-law, who's better known as Leo's mom, they had a fire in their kitchen yesterday.
Oh, God.
I know. And nobody told me. And I feel like, you know, if it's not cancer, everyone's like, oh, I don't want to bother her because she's dealing with so much. And it's like, grief can't be, everyone's allowed to feel. It doesn't, I hope it's not cancer. I hope that's not what you're going through. But you're allowed to, like, be upset that, like, the fire went off and that, like, the kitchen's not well and Leo is in the house. Like, it's not cancer, thank God, but, like, so when you say to me, like, I didn't go through what you went through, and I think a lot of survivors will tell you, like, any level of it is horrible.
Oh, my God.
And so, you know, I was telling you in the green room, it's not green, but there's a whole story as to why they call it that. I feel like, first of all, we had a really beautiful, in the middle of this mess, healthy baby who's so smart, smarter than all of us and funnier than all of us, and I felt like God gave our family a choice, and I chose to take it, and he's thriving. And I also feel like there are very, like, prominent people who have the platform, and today is the biggest celebrity. The Today Show platform, I mean, I've been a part of it for 20 years, but, like, that's really, like, you guys trust the brand. Like, we can all come and go, but it's, like, it's for real, and we're a real family, and it's all real, and this is exactly how we are. I keep losing my train of thought.
No, it's okay. Well, let me go back to me.
Yeah, no, but
so
I
just
wanted
a
to-
second, you were
I
saying
it was
that it's
something
okay.
you said.
It's something I said.
Yeah.
That I didn't feel I had the right to complain.
Right. Anyway, so we got that point across. But
Okay.
so the point I want to make,
Whatever.
the point I want to make is that only people who are, like, I believe if you were given cancer or anything like that, you were given a platform to help others and to be kind. And there are prominent people who have come up to me who say, I have young kids, I don't want the girls or the boys to know that I have this gene. And thank you for talking, because I don't want the kids in school going up to them and saying, your mom has cancer.
Right.
So they come to me feeling guilty, saying, like, I know I'm this big famous person, and if I spoke, maybe more people would get tested. And I say, let me do it for you. I have the platform. Like, and I say to my mom and my dad, like, I just hate they have to listen to it over and over again. But I do want to use this for a minute to just say, like, if genetic testing, if you have a lot of cancer in your family, like, not breast cancer, you know, and just so you know, like, up until 45 years old, like, luck was always on my side. You know, tests are 93% sonograms. Like, I was in the 7%. Like, it's not you until it's you. So, like, please, like, if you have a lot of cancer in your family, like, likely numbers-wise, someone in this room has the gene that I had. They're just numbers. That's just statistics.
Wait,
and so,
just a minute. You had the BRCA gene?
yeah.
Right.
My mom had DCIS. I was like, you took the hit for us, mommy. But, like, I always knew, and I was up on my mammograms, up on my sonograms, and I went to take the BRCA test, like, randomly. It was random, and I said, my mom's negative for BRCA, and they said, what about your dad? I'm like, there's no breast cancer in my dad's family. So I took the spit test in between Zoom calls, and 2.5 weeks later, they said, you know, you're gonna, like, we suggest getting a double mastectomy, getting your ovaries out. You know, you have a 60 to 90% chance of getting breast cancer. And so I was like, oh my God. So I called Dr. Port immediately. I got the doctor. I don't crowdsource. I call one person who, like, gets me to the right person. And I was like, let's do this immediately. Anyway, I was going in for the preventive surgery, and, like, I just remember doctors, like, running in and out. And I, like, saw the screen, and I was like, oh my God. And so anyway, I had, like, really serious cancer, which would have been incurable within the year. So, like, I don't want to talk about that, and I'm sorry, but it's like, if somebody goes and gets tested, it's worth saying that.
It's so
Because I was always the lucky one, you know? So that's my PSA. I just, like, on my card, like, now I don't have to say anything.
never stop giving that PSA, because right, Mom? Right, Howard? I think you have taught so many people through your journey. We don't have to make it about...
The only other positive I want to say about the journey is that you're given from trauma, and you know, and whether it be death in your family or death of your partner's families that you go through, or death of somebody, I mean, unspeakable things are going on in this world right now. Every day you wake up with a choice, and like no one, my mom said, no one would blame you if you want to lay in bed and pull the covers up over your head. And my Sherpa squad is here, and my team, and my family's here, and every day I choose, it's a decision, because it's like a pivotal moment. I choose to get up, and I choose to thrive, and that's what I pick. And I choose to believe that. I choose to believe that, you know, someone here who knew my mom's, anyway, someone here who knew a family member of mine that my middle name is named after. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think she's saying hi. I choose to believe that.
Wow. No, that's powerful. Powerful. Jill, do you feel truly, you know how people say,
but this
like,
is not, could we move on? And I also
No.
want to,
by the way, every
up.
time I talk, she goes, not that you did that.
No,
All right,
because
let's
I don't
move
want to talk
on.
about me, but
Let's talk about beauty.
I want to, any questions, any hair questions? Let's do like hair and beauty questions for a little bit.
How
Like,
do I have her hair?
What's one item, like if you have really, I have natural, I don't know how it's going to grow back, but like for naturally curly haired people in the summer, who like their hair curly. My mom's, for example, she blows it straight. What's like the one product if you're going to a desert island?
Okay, so there's two parts to this. One, the product I would say is our curl defining custard, because it has both moisture and it has hold. And the one piece of advice I want to give, so many people say, oh, my hair gets so frizzy, or my hair will look good when I first moisturize it, but then it'll like get really frizzy as soon as I go outside. It's because so many people are afraid of hold. They're afraid of a cast, they're afraid of hold. Hold is what will keep your hair from getting frizzy, because that moisture that you create when you add a cream or moisturize or anything on your hair.
But it's out of the shower, so you get out of the shower.
So if a simplified curl routine that I would recommend, if I'm just generalizing to like something like my texture, like a 3, and mind you, it could work with coiler hair and wavier hair. You might just need to edit like the add more or add a little less. But essentially, you get out of the shower, your hair is soaking wet, and then you apply, I like to apply something for moisture and curl definition, and then something for hold. If you add those two.
Soaking wet?
Yeah, so first you apply when your moisturizer. So I like to start off with we have a heat protecting multivitamin leave-in that has over 14 vitamins and amino acids. It's like a multivitamin for your hair. It also protects against heat up to 450 degrees, which if you're using a blow dryer, I even use it when I straighten my hair. It's honestly the best leave-in you're ever going to use.
Are we getting any of this?
I hope so. I don't know. If not, I'll figure it out. But anyway, so I like to start off with that. I put it in my hair. I'll quickly be able to detangle it. It moisturizes. And so I'm like putting it all over my hair. I like to use a praying hands method, which let me show you. So that's like praying hands and scrunch. So that's how I apply my product. And then I go in with the custard. The custard is very slimy and has a lot of slip. It's best for people with really dry hair. If your hair is like really fine and it's not that dry, then you could just do a curl cream, or you could just do our light hold gel or our strong hold gel. But if you have frizz-prone hair like mine, you're gonna obsess with the custard no matter what your texture is, because it has ultra moisture, ultra cold definition, and about like a medium flexible hold. So it's gonna be slimy. So you're gonna see it like, oh, as soon as it enters your hair, you're gonna see that frizz control. So you're gonna like this.
Show me you're an entrepreneur without telling me you're an entrepreneur.
And then like really coat it all over your hair, and then you can either air dry or you can blow dry with a diffuser, and then you'll see your curls are just gonna pop out. And then what I like to do before I completely finish, I get either our alcohol-free hairspray or that same gel or a stronger gel. Especially if I'm gonna be in this New York humidity, I might go for a little stronger, and then I'll just like lightly coat it just to like an extra layer of protection. So if I'm using the alcohol-free hairspray, I'll be like, all right, I like how I look. So then I'll like, I'm ready to take on New York.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
amazing. I know. Amazing. Laura, what would you say? I feel like my thing, if you know me, is like lip gloss. Like that would be the one, everyone has their one thing that they don't like about themselves, that they're like, I want to use cover up, or I need lip gloss. Is mascara like the thing that we should all always wear?
You need everything, okay? Mascara. You're lucky that you can get away with as little as you do. You're very lucky.
I use the Laura Geller, Nicole, we use the Laura Geller palette.
No, listen, I think everybody does what they need to do. You know, when I had a store in Manhattan.
I know, I remember that.
You came to my store? Oh my God, I had a... Oh my God, somebody from my store did her makeup for her wedding. 30 years ago?
You have day ones.
Oh my
God.
God.
You weren't there shooting with me in the gym? They were. You know that?
No, but it just shows, like I was asking Jillian, and I know you're not supposed to say this, but we were talking about how old we were. And I was like, you're such a good producer, but like imagine I'm 19 years later. Like you just have 20 more years of stuff, of experience, of trauma, of life. Like you just can't compare with time and experience, you know? So it's like, as you get older, it's like, I remember thinking, oh, I'm never gonna need Botox. It's like, someone's like, what's the trick to your skin?
Good
I'm like,
point.
Botox is the trick. I was like, are we not supposed to say that? Like, oh my God, I do so much worse than Botox.
No. Like what?
I don't know, like, I mean.
What's your secret?
Yeah.
Beside Botox that I'm not doing.
No, I'm just doing, I had filler for a while, but then I stopped using filler, and now they do Botox. I hate the lines above my lips.
Yeah. No, when I had my store and I did makeup, I remember when customers would come in like 2 seconds, I could size them up. And it's not something I learned from going to college or a program. I knew what their lifestyle was. I asked a few questions, and I really tailored the makeup for them, for what they would recreate, because I can do a gorgeous makeup on you. I'm a very good makeup artist. But can you recreate that at home, sir? I don't think you could. I know.
You're welcome to push back.
I know.
At your own risk, sign a waiver.
I mean, listen, I have Geller gals, but I also have Geller guys. And Chaz Dean uses my Kajal liner, and he calls it guy liner. My friend Chaz, who has a hair company.
You love Chaz.
So I just think that you have to do what's comfortable for you. Like, you came in the dressing room, and I was looking at you, and I thought you looked gorgeous, but I'll be honest, I think you need a little eyeliner on top.
And let me tell you something.
Just a little bit.
My mom, when I was going through chemo, she walked in, she's like, here, and it was an eyebrow pencil. And I'm like, Mom, like I have no eyelashes, no eyebrows, and she's like, you could just draw them in a little bit.
Oh,
and
no,
so
yeah.
if she could say that, you can say on the top.
I mean, I'm saying you're lucky that you look so good with so little.
No,
because you're a beautiful
woman.
woman.
We're here for tips. So like,
but I'm just saying, a little liner goes a long way.
Would you say navy or purple? I heard purple. Like, is it black or just?
I mean, not black for you. I would do like a deep charcoal, or maybe even a deep aubergine or deep plum. Consults available after for $250 each. No.
But really, thank you so much, and I hope you come to everything, and I hope this starts a beautiful friendship with all of us. And everyone, let's all give you a big round of applause.
Hi, everybody. So excited to see all your faces. We are going to be talking mom talk today, right? We may not all be mothers, but we all have a mother. And there's so much to get into. And I'm here, I mean, you guys probably know this already if you know me on Instagram. I have 2 small kids. The struggle is real, pickup, drop off, tantrums, everything. But these ladies also know a little bit about that. I'm going to introduce to you guys, we've got Emily DiDonato, model and founder of Covey Skincare. Melissa Garcia, who you guys may know, Shop Today contributor, and Julie Wilson, beauty editor at large at Cosmopolitan. So we've got, these ladies are impressive in their own right, not just on their resume, but they are moms. And I'm so excited to chat with them. Let's set this up for everybody who's here. Let's talk really quickly about what stage of motherhood you guys are in right now, because you guys are all in very different stages.
I'll go first. I have a 3.5-year-old, a girl, and then I have a 2-year-old, a boy. I had them very close together. So I'd say I'm in the weeds of toddlerhood.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. So nice to see you guys. So nice. So I have adults, which is so strange. My oldest is 20. I started young. Not that I'm 47, but I had my first when I was 26. My husband and I have been together since we're 15, which is not normal. I know. It's like we met in day camp. It's not the normal story, I know. And I do actually still love him, which is even more unnormal. And my other son is 18. He just graduated from high school. And then my daughter is going to be 15 on Sunday. So, yeah.
So sweet.
You're in it. I got a mic. Yeah.
Oh, we all have a mic. We all have a mic.
Yes, we got one. Hi, everyone. I'm kind of splitting kind of the ages. Mine are 6.5 years apart. So I have a 10-year-old, will be 11-year-old next month, and a 4-year-old. Who thinks he's 11?
Love.
So kind of, it was hard, because at first I was like, we need to if all be going to the puppet show, and now it's like laser tag puppet show, splitting the time and the effort, but they're cute, so.
They're so cute. And you guys are all balancing it all, right? Because you guys are all working in your own right and juggling motherhood. Emily, I don't know how you did this, but you launched a skincare company. First of all, Emily's an iconic model. If you guys don't know her, she was the face of Maybelline for what, like 10 years or something like that? You were like the girl. And you sort of parlayed this job as a model into doing more influencing, and then you started your family, and in the middle of starting your family, you said, I'm gonna launch a skincare line. And the whole approach to that brand is really about simplifying your routine, right? It's a 3-step. Did motherhood, becoming a mom, influence that? Were you like, I need to streamline my life, let me launch a brand? How did that all sort of happen?
Yeah, so I actually found out that I was pregnant like a week before we launched my skincare brand, Covey, which I launched with my best friend, Christina. So we were kind of like, oh, that's interesting. And when we launched Covey, or came up with the concept of it, which was a super simple, effective skincare routine, 3 steps, we kind of wanted to create a modern, clean version of like a Clinique or a Proactive. We were kind of like, that was what spoke to us at the time, pre-children. It was like the height of Korean beauty. Everyone was doing 10, 12 steps, and we were like, this is just not realistic as like a woman generally, but then after kids, it sings truer than ever. I'm like, I don't have time for like a million steps and overcomplicated routines. So I would say it was part of the DNA of the brand, but since I became a mom, you're like, yeah, this totally makes sense. But being pregnant during that time, it was definitely hectic, and I'm like, you're getting used to all of those body changes and what's going on and all of that. I'm still processing it, honestly.
And now you have 2 kids.
Now I have 2 kids, right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Melissa, you were in the law field before you became a stylist and fashion expert, and you were a mom in the middle of all this, and you just took this leap of faith going complete 180 in your career. Was that so scary?
Yes.
How did you do it?
It was really scary. I practiced law for 10 years, and I wasn't happy, and I was leaving my kids who were little at the time, and I was thinking to myself, why am I doing this? I'm miserable. I'd rather be home with them. Why am I leaving them to do something I'm not fulfilled with? And I always said if I can do it over again, I would go into fashion. I love clothes. And one of my best friends is on the phone with me telling me, I'm sick and tired of hearing you complain. You're not married, you're to your career, jump. And I finally was like, you know what? Life's too short. I don't want to have regrets. And I just jumped, and I just started. I didn't know anyone in the industry. I knew nothing. I didn't go to school for fashion. And I worked really hard, and I networked, and I put in effort and time, and I truly believe that it's never too late to make a change and to follow your dreams. So if anyone out there has a dream that you're scared to even admit, or that you're scared to try, please, the worst thing is to have regret. So I'd rather you try and fail than not try at all. So anyway,
Absolutely.
so yeah, that was 12 years ago, and here I am now, and I was in the car on the way here, I was pinching myself, I cannot believe I had the opportunity to do what I love and to be here. So thank you guys for giving me also the ability.
And we love having you here. And Julie, you and I go back. We're old school beauty editors.
Don't tell people our age.
I know, I won't. I'll keep, that stays under wraps always. But we go back to the beauty industry, and you I remember just like looking up to you. You have been at Essence Magazine, the Huffington Post, and I think what I find most inspiring about your work and beauty coverage is your commitment to raising diversity and really being inclusive about all your coverage. I think all your reporting in the space has been so impactful, and you're always about empowering others, especially those that may not have the platform. So you've used your platform to really raise a lot of brands up, and I think that speaks a lot to you. And I'm sure your kids are so proud of that. So talk to me about legacy, because I think that means a lot to you too. It's sort of like your kids seeing you and your career and how you're using this platform for good.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always been very intentional about if I was going to get a seat at the table, a very rarefied seat at the table in the publishing industry, that I was going to use it in a way that I wouldn't squander it, that I was going to move the needle, that I was going to make some type of change. And I really feel like I did that. I mean, I started my career at Real Simple magazine. I was there for 6.5 years. And then I went to the Huffington Post when like magazines were folding and you had to learn digital, but it was like going from a monthly to a minutely. Like I was working on like 3 to 4 stories a month at Real Simple and publishing 3 to 4 stories a day at the Huffington Post. So it was like wild times. And I got married and had kids while I was at the Huffington Post, when the Huffington Post mattered. Not that it doesn't anymore, but I don't think anyone like reads it anymore. And then I went on to do, Essence, like you said, which was really nice because I got to celebrate the dopeness of Black women every single day. But I knew that when that time was up, going to Cosmo was going to be really significant for my storytelling. And I remember being in my interview at Cosmo and saying, look, I get to celebrate the dopeness of Black women every day. If I come here, I have to be Black, blackity black. Yes. I literally remember saying that to the editor-in-chief at the time, and her being very much like, no, I get it, I want that. I mean, I can tell all stories. I can't make it this far in my career if I don't know about white beauty, indigenous beauty, Indian beauty, but I also wanted to make sure I was able to tell the storytelling through a filter of being a Black woman. So it's been really nice. I have a column there called Yours, Mine, Ours, check it out. It's the intersection between Black culture and beauty, and I'm just very intentional about being, bringing my full self into very white spaces, but also making sure people see it as, a celebration of our culture.
Absolutely. And I think your kids are a little young now, but that's going to be really important for them. And I think you kind of already do that, how you're raising them. They know what mom's doing, and they know the work she does.
They know, they're very proud of being Black. They both have locks, which I think is, very interesting, now, with the Crown Act happening, there's only 27 states that have signed the Crown Act. So the way in which my hair grows out of my head and my children's hair grow out of their head, there's still many states in this country where it could be deemed illegal. So that's been really hard, but they know that. They know mommy's fighting for those sorts of things. But then they also know just cool things like that Sol de Janeiro cream is boom boom and not bum bum.
Yes.
I get very proud. My 4-year-old, we were literally in the subway station, and he saw a Sol de Janeiro ad, and was like, "Oh, boom boom, boom boom cream," and I was like, "Yes."
Yes.
Because I was like, everyone calls it bum bum, and I'm like, my 4-year-old knows it's boom boom, and also knows how to pronounce Givenchy. So I'm doing good. I'm
Mic drop.
I'm winning as a mom.
And all you ladies, you guys are working so hard, and I feel like earlier in your careers and earlier in life, right? That stage is all about building up your career before you're having kids and entering motherhood. But motherhood teaches you a lot. I was talking to somebody, some of you guys here, and I'm like, I feel like ever since becoming a mom, you unlock this sort of superpower within you that you didn't know you had, where you can make more of the 24 hours in the day. So talk to me a little bit about how motherhood has influenced your career and what you're bringing from, being a mom into your day-to-day work.
Yeah, I think for me, and I feel like this has already been kind of said, but I think that being a mom has just made me generally a much more intentional person, and I think it just forces you to prioritize in the most intense way possible. And I think that becoming a mom has at least allowed me to be a bit more cutthroat about what I choose to use my time on, whether that be work, activities, people. I don't know, I just feel like I'm a bit more allowed to be no, and that's not worth my time or my energy. So now I think I'm just more intentional in terms of like what I want to focus on and what I want to build from here and what's sustainable while my children are still little and how it fits into my lifestyle versus like I think when you're younger and in those building years, like that's like your main focus and your only thing. And then once you become a mom, like you have to be way more mindful of the holistic picture. But I think that's also a beautiful thing about being a mom.
Right. And Melissa, and Julie, how do you guys sort of keep that all balanced?
I hate that word, balance.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I feel like it means something different for everybody. You know, like what might be balanced for me might not be what works for you or you, right? So
Totally.
I think you have to just figure out really what works for you and your family. And it's funny, I asked my husband, and you know, our oldest is 20 now, so we've had kids for some time, and I'm like, what the heck did we do with all of our time? When we told people we were busy, like, what were we busy doing before we had kids? Like, I don't know what we were busy doing. I have no idea. But I think for me, being mindful with my kids, and I check in with them a lot. I think like that could be a really good tip. I ask them, like, am I present enough for you right now? Is there something I could have done better as a mom? Did I make, you know, 'cause I make mistakes. I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. How could I have done that differently? And they'll be honest. Like, they will tell you, and listen to them. Even if you don't agree with them, their perspectives are truly what they're perceiving. So I really try to make sure that I'm present for those moments, even if it's those small moments, you know, that you don't think are important, but driving them to their friend's house or those little things really wind up being the big things.
They add up and they make an impact for sure.
You're brave. I'm not asking them that because I do not want to hear the answer because I know what it's going to be.
It might be better than
I don't think so. But yeah, balance is like not a word I use because I don't have it. I tell people it is non-existent for me. I'm on a hustle. It's a constant hustle. I'm constantly going because I want to make them proud, right? I want to make sure that one day I'm like, my mom was a badass. And like, I know that will happen as I keep going, but I lean a lot on Jesus and tequila.
Love it. Preach.
I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Like,
I love it.
Like, and I have an amazing husband. Like, without my husband, this would not work. Like, he's like very like present. He does not have the career that I have. He has a different career that allows him to like be able to be like, yes, go on that trip or go do that talk or whatever it is. And so so understanding of it. So like he helps me have some semblance of balance, even though it's not really balanced.
Right. No, but that's like, you bring up a good point, right? It's like your partner and your village. So many people talk about that. It's not just, you know, obviously, yes, moms can do it all, full disclosure, but like there are people in your life that help you out and make it all possible. Like, I think, Melissa, you have family nearby too, and like you live near them. And how does that sort of play a role, like your village, whether it's family, friends, babysitter?
So my husband and I always say, because we both grew up in the same town, and we're like, we're never going to move back there. We moved to the city. We thought we were so cool. And then I got pregnant with my first kid. I'm like, I need to go to Costco. I need a garage. Like, and we said we'd never move back to where we grew up. And P.S., like, we moved back to where we grew up because that's where our parents were. Like, both of our parents, you know, we grew up in the same town, and both of our parents were there. And we had my brother-in-law was there with their kids, so it just made sense for us, and it gave me the flexibility to do all of this. So it does. It takes a village, like, and I was so blessed to have my parents and my in-laws be the ones to help out and raise my kids when I was working and my husband was working.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about trying to juggle it all, right? I think, Emily, you've been really outspoken about sort of your struggles when you had your first, you know, suffering from postpartum anxiety and just like, you know, your self-image because, you know, you're in the public eye so much. Like, did that change with your second? Like, what has sort of been your journey with that for folks who may not know about it a little bit?
I mean, after I had my first baby, I had really bad postpartum anxiety. So I was up at all hours of the night just haunting my own house. And people are like, oh, is it because the baby's not sleeping? I'm like, no, the baby's sleeping through the night. I'm just awake haunting everyone that lives here with all of my anxiety. So it wasn't easy. And then with my second, I had postpartum depression, which sometimes I feel like I think I'm just coming out of that fog. He just turned 2. In terms of the body image stuff, you know, I feel like I need to be sensitive about it because on one hand, I feel like I've been on such a journey, like finding and kind of trying to nurture a good relationship with my body. I was in the fashion industry in 2008 or 2009, and those who get it, get it. It was a really toxic time to be a model. People were very thin, so I'm like for so long trying to like strive for that, then finally coming to peace with that. But for the majority of my career, right, I was always trying to be smaller, 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 and then you get pregnant and you're supposed to be happy about getting bigger, bigger, bigger. And then you finally have these huge changes, and I felt like everyone's like, be nice to yourself, you look great, it's okay. And then I'm like, but I want to feel like me again so badly, and I don't know how to do that, and feels like there's no time or energy or like resources to do that, and I feel guilty that I want to feel like myself again. It's so multi-layered. But at the end of the day, I do feel like as a mom, and once you have your children, you have every right to want to feel good again, whatever that looks like for you. I don't think we should shame moms for wanting that for themselves. But yeah, I would say like the mental health ups and downs that came with children was very surprising to me. And I think when I started sharing it on social media, I was just like, the people need to know. I was like, I feel like everyone paints this like really differently, but this is like what it looked like for me. Not to scare people, I just wanted people to know that like it can look really different.
Right. And did you discover other people were like in the same boat? Like,
oh, yeah.
Hi?
Yes. I mean, I posted stuff like that like years ago at this point, and people still message me and they're like, hey, I looked back at like your story highlight from 2020 and I saw that you like talked about this. And I'm like, yeah, because I just was like, I have to be honest about what this looks like for me. And if it helps any single person, which it has, and it makes people feel less alone, I'm like, if you only knew the insane, intrusive thoughts that I had after having my children, I would potentially be sent away. But luckily, I came out on the other side. Everything's okay.
Yeah. You have a very supportive partner too.
I do.
I feel like you guys are like a strong unit.
Yes.
And I'm sure that helped a lot get you through it. And
I feel like I'm like the super emotional one, and my husband is cool as a cucumber. Like he's so grounded. I feel like that's a common combo. So I'm all over the place, and he's just like, everything's okay. I'm like,
everything's okay.
So true.
Yeah. Being a mom, you're just like built a little different. You're like, I'm thinking about things that you may not be thinking about. And you brought up a good point about like feeling like yourself again, right? We put so much into these amazing little humans that we're raising, some adults now. You know, how do you guys get back to feeling like yourself if you ever feel like kind of like, wait, what is my life right now and who am I? What do you guys, is there something you do, or are you just kind of living in it?
Go out drinking and twerking with your friends.
Love. Julie, where's my invite?
Anyone else? No?
I'm the total opposite.
You can also just twerk by yourself in your house.
Absolutely. Get the Spotify
I put on music and I act like I'm a video girl sometimes, like, and just try to get my head out of, you know, imposter syndrome and being a bad mom and that sort of thing. But I do think the village goes beyond family and like, you know, your spouse or your significant other. I think it's also like your friends. Like I have great friends. I literally cried to 2 of my friends today before noon. Like, you know, like literally, like over like work stuff or like not feeling good about like myself, about other things. Like you need that village of friends that you can share your like woes with, and they'll like cry with you and say it'll be okay. And then also your wows with, and they're not thinking like, oh, you're bragging or whatever. Like just having like real ride or dies in your life is like so important. And so like I give a lot of credit to the circle of friends that I've created that are there for me, and I'm there for them just as much. And like, again, like it's nice also being in New York City where you can go out and twerk.
Absolutely.
I don't drink, not because for any other reason, just I don't like it. So I don't have that outlet. But I think I'm a morning person, and I think there's something really special about getting up in the morning before everybody else is up and just having a moment to yourself, even if you're just drinking your coffee or in prayer or meditation, whatever it might be. So for me, I love that quiet time. And then Dave and I, we try and make date nights every now and then. I mean, now my kids are older, so I don't need to coordinate babysitters or anything, but timing.
Good for you.
I know, it's actually
I'm like, what is that like?
But you'll get there. I promise you'll get there.
Are they available to babysit?
Yes, they are. They need, yes, my son is broke and he needs money. Yes, he will work. So yeah, but it's really nice to just carve out that time to have with one another, because even if your kids are older and they're around, but your life is busy, so.
It is. It is. And maybe you bake a sourdough bread in between there?
Yes, I love making
I know
sourdough.
you love your
I cook
sourdough.
a lot. I love to cook, so that also is really meditative for me. I had chickens, so that was fun until
chickens?
I had 17
chickens. She's got like a farm.
Until I did until a
So
fox
you didn't have to
freaking
pay for
came.
those expensive eggs?
I did
Yeah.
pay for them for food for the chickens and stuff, but they were amazing.
But they were laying eggs for you?
It was amazing. If anyone can get chickens, it was the best thing ever. I just need to
Life
get a better
hack.
coop. It was incredible. Yeah, part of me feels like I should be living on a farm in the middle of like Montana. I don't know, but I'm in the
I
city.
love
so
this.
yeah.
That's awesome. I'm very inspired. I just planted a garden yesterday all by myself. I was so proud of myself. Yeah, I'd say like it's kind of a combination of what both of you just said. I do feel like when I don't feel like myself again, I need to surround myself with the people who knew me like pre and post having children. Like just having an amazing girls' dinner sometimes fills me up and brings so much joy to like my spirit, to the point where I like come home and I can't even sleep because I'm so elated by like my wonderful friends and like support or the fun that I just had. Also just generally like being outside, being creative, doing something that, I mean, it sounds kind of mean, has nothing to do with like motherhood and being a mom, but just finding my way back to just being grounded in like my true essence and spirit in a way. And anything that kind of takes me off like being online and other influences that sometimes cloud your judgment or self-esteem, just things that are like for me that just make me feel good.
Yeah. How are you like sort of juggling your day to day with like running this business, Covey Skincare? It's such a great brand. It's got such a good mission. And I mean, as a mom, I just love the fact that it's a 3-step. It does all the work for me and I don't have to think about it. How are you balancing your days of like being a founder and like formulating this brand and then also just like juggling the motherhood piece of it?
That word balance again, like
I know.
Always never
Sorry,
feels
I don't
that
want to
way.
be triggering.
Just randomly when I do feel balanced, I'm like, oh, I think I got today right. It'll be like one day where I have like the perfect combination of events. So in terms of like balancing everything, I'd say the village heavily comes into play here. I also have family nearby who helps with my kids. I have a nanny. My husband is involved. Like I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, the village now, my neighbor's like 13. I'm like, are you available tonight I'm like, my village is getting whoever's
like
willing.
we're recruiting.
Yeah. Anyone, come to my house
I'll
any
send my
day.
kids.
Yeah,
I'll send my
literally.
I know, I'm like,
Yeah,
Melissa.
seriously.
And Melissa, so for you it must be really different too, because you have adult children, and I know for all of us in this room, our relationship sort of shifts with our parents and our moms as we become adults. So going through that and now going through it as the mom for you, how has that been? Because I know there was a big milestone in your family this week too, right? With the graduation.
I cried a lot this week. My middle graduated high school, so I'm gonna have 2 in college starting in August, which is crazy. And they're not anywhere near each other. One's all the way in California and the other one's gonna be in South Carolina. So they are nowhere close to each other. If there's anyone here in those states, please, I always like to have people that, oh yay.
Come on,
like I have
village.
people, yeah, I need people just to have eyes just in case, feet on the ground. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird having, I remember looking at my son sitting in the car next to me and he had man legs. I'm like, how do you have like legs like that? You'll see, it's weird. It's just strange, but it's really nice to have that relationship. And I always mourned every stage of parenthood because I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss the newborn phase. I'm gonna miss the toddler phase. But honestly, every phase is so beautiful. Like, and each one, as cliche as it sounds, truly does get better. I love them all, and they're each individually so different, and they all have like the coolest personalities, and like you get to hang out with your kids now. And listen, you're always still a parent. Like, you'll never stop being a parent. And my mom always says you're only as happy as your least happy child, which is so true. But my mom always says, like, the roast is out of the oven. You've done your job with 2 of them. Like, there's not much more shaping you can do. You can just let go and let God and pray, like, everything that you've taught them. And I'm gonna cry. In like the 18 years that you had them, like, you know, you did a good job as a mom. And for me, I always say, like, I want to create a space that they feel comfortable and confident to leave, but that they also really want to come back home because they just love it being home. So that's my goal as a mama. Yeah.
Well, you're doing it. You're really doing it.
Thank you.
You guys are all pretty active on social media, so I want to talk about that. And how do you guys sort of approach social media having kids? And, you know, I think, Melissa, for you, you're probably speaking to them about it, and Julie, you too, and then Emily, like, how much are you sharing about them? Like, how are you guys sort of navigating social media? Because I think when we were all growing up, it was definitely not around. We barely had dial-up internet. So now I feel like there's just so much out there and so much information, and it affects them, and there's studies that say it's not good for them. So How are you guys sort of navigating that? Asking for a friend.
I mean, I definitely share a lot of them on my social media, only because I also feel like a part of my storytelling as like a person in this world is showing that like what this life really looks like. Because I think that there could be a lot of perceptions about it just being so fabulous and you're here and you're there and you're writing for this magazine, you're doing that, which it is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm really living in my purpose. But I also need to want to show that like, look, I just finished a deadline for a 1,200 word piece. Now I'm running to do a talk, and then now I'm at the baseball field, like, at his game. And I want to show that. It's not just, like brunches with Dior, which I get to do, but like people also don't see, I want to show them like, yeah, I had brunch with Dior Beauty, I interviewed the perfumers, I had to go home, transcribe that interview, write it up. It's not just like, I was brunching and then it's over. There's work that comes from that. Or even like doing like things like, interviewing someone for a cover story. Yes, that's amazing. But like now I'm up for the next week, like sleepless, thinking about how I'm going to tell the story of like Tracy Ellis Ross. And like Diana Ross is gonna read this. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's hard. It's hard to do that. And so I like to show, the 360 of my life, which includes my children. Yeah. And I also just wanted to like, when I brought up twerking, I was like, Julie, you act like you're in the club. So I wanted to just like clarify that I'm not in the club. I'm in my 40s. We're not doing that. I like to sit. We don't stand. And so when I say I go out twerking with my friends, I mean going to a really yummy restaurant and like twerking your seat to the music.
Love it.
At the restaurant.
Followed by the appetizers.
At the restaurant. So like, I just wanted to put that out there for everyone that's like, damn, like she does all this and then goes to the club? No. I'm putting french fries in my mouth, sitting down and twerking to the soundtrack of the restaurant.
I feel like we should all do that.
Yeah. Clarify that.
Guys, they're wrapping me. So I just want to ask you one last question, and then we're going to do a little rapid fire. What is the single thing you are most proud of as a mother? I know there's so many accomplishments, but right now, what comes to mind is something that you are just like, I did that.
For me, I mean, my 3 kids, I don't just them, who they are as people. At home, they can let their guard down and be difficult at times, but I would say if I send them out into the world and they're good people to people that they meet and they leave with kindness, then I've done my job. So, yeah.
I think that they are kind human beings. I don't feel like they're gonna turn into serial killers, like, which is like something that keeps me up every night. Because they do game. Oh. And I'm like, geez, I'm hearing them like, got 5 kills. And so I'm like,
you're like, this is not real life.
Right, but I'm like, the hand-eye coordination's on point. Like they might become like surgeons at some point. But then I see them like reacting to other people in real life and being very kind. And so I'm like, okay, it's just the gaming. They're kind. They're not going to hurt them. So like
the game is just giving you trauma.
So that makes me very happy. And they know all the words to Knuck If You Buck.
Love it.
I mean, similar to what you guys said, I think generally when I see my kids out in the wild, they are sweet and they are kind and they are aware. And I feel like even at their little ages, they're already thoughtful, especially like my 3.5-year-old. So I do think a lot of that, I hope, is just because they're innocent and sweet, but also try to model that ourselves as parents. So I'd say so far, that's what I'm most proud of. But like as a mom, you're just so proud of them for existing, even if they're gaming and
doing all the
you're
things.
Amazing, sweetie. So.
Okay, let's do a really quick lightning round at stages. We're asking all our panelists some questions. So it's rapid fire. Keep it short, 1 sentence, what comes to mind? Favorite stage of motherhood so far?
Now, I think we're all gonna say the same answer. Are you gonna say now?
No,
What? Oh.
Damn, look at me being a bad mother again. No, I love them now, they're great. I always like that like 6-month to like 8-month phase when you can like really F with them. Like when you're like, they're not gonna break, they're breathing.
Right, they're like little blobs.
And they're little dolls, you can like do the things with them. They're not gonna run away and like touch the thing or put their finger in the thing. Like you can just like look at them and you're like, oh my God, you're so cute. Like, I really love that stage.
Okay.
I love 6 months too, I always say, because like they start sitting up, but they can't go anywhere. So you just look at them being cute.
That's
and you're
where I'm
like,
at.
It's the best.
Yes, my 6-month-old, he's like sitting, and I'm like, great, and he's eating all the food, not complaining or saying a word about my cooking. Okay, most common phrase you find yourself telling your children.
I mean, right now for me, I have 2 toddlers. I'm use your words, use your words. And I ended up now start doing this to my husband too. I'm like, look around, look around.
There's 2 that come to mind. I don't know if they would agree with me, but be kind. I always say be kind. And finish strong. The end of the school year was definitely rough for them. I'm like, you guys are so close, just finish strong. So that's another one, yeah.
I say maybe all the time, which means no. They're constantly asking for something. I'm like, maybe. Maybe.
Ask me tomorrow.
Maybe. Yeah, but they always remember. They're like, 3 weeks ago you said maybe.
Like, okay, it's still maybe. Okay, your kid's current obsession that annoys you the most.
Calling me bruh.
The audacity.
Both of them. The
Even the
4-year-old
4-year-old?
too. It's like, bruh. And I'm like, who's that?
You're like, I'm not your homie.
I think it's the messy room. I don't know. It drives me insane. And I really try not to get stressed out about it and just let them be, but there's literally stuff everywhere. Yeah.
Is it their obsession or mine?
Their obsession that annoys you the most.
My not good answer, but my honest answer is their obsession is me. And that's so great, but sometimes I'm like, guys, we gotta like look around. Let's just look around for something else to focus on.
Look around. Okay, one word that best sums up your current stage of motherhood.
Chaotic for me. With 3 and 2, it's insane at my house.
I don't know either. I don't have an answer.
You could plead the fifth.
Can I? I don't know. I'll probably get one.
I'll get real PC and just say blessed. Like, I am blessed that they are happy and healthy, breathing, all the things, you know.
Love that.
I take Julie's answer. Blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Okay, what is one thing you're letting go of to thrive in this stage? What are we not taking with us to the next era of parenting? Leaving it behind?
Trying to help them in every single thing they do. I feel like we have to let go as parents and let them fail at times. I'm dealing with this right now with my oldest, who's the most chill, and it stresses me out so much because nothing bothers him, and he's almost not gonna get a visa to go abroad. So we're gonna see, because I let him do it himself, and he's not doing such a great job. So
your micromanaging days are over.
I have to let go more, yes, letting go.
For me, it's super specific. They're very picky eaters, and that like kills me because I'll eat anything. If you're like, this is monkey brains, I'll be like, sure, I'll try it. Like, I'm like very adventurous, and like they're very, very picky, and like that drives me crazy, and I just need to be like, they'll be fine. They cannot eat chicken nuggets and like French fries for the rest of their life. And so I'm letting go and letting God.
I promise you that changes. It does, yes, it does.
I mean, I don't know, it's not necessarily like letting go of my kids, but for myself as a parent, like all of the insane parenting advice on social media, like it's like, I can't anymore. Every single day I scroll and it's like, this is the one thing you're doing wrong. I'm like, how many of these are there?
You're like, I'm doing a lot of single things wrong.
Like, I can't do this. So anytime I see videos like that, I'm like, no. Like, I reject it completely.
I love that. That's really good, especially because you are on social media a lot. You're like, I don't need to see this. All right, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Emily, Melissa, Julie, for being here and sharing everything.
For many here who know, you started what I was surprised, I didn't really think about it until somebody pointed out. Kristin was 17. 17. Think about where we were at 17 years old. And you were excited and ready to take on reality television. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't really think too much about it. Honestly, at the time, it was more of a competition. I was like, no, I want to get this because everyone at school wanted it. I didn't really think about the future or what that would actually mean for my life if I got on TV. It was just like, this is right in front of me and I want to get this thing.
Yeah, so you were destined. So again, to remind everyone, 17 years old, and not only was she on reality television, which at the time, I don't think most of us understand what reality television means and implies, but this was sort of a brand new genre coming out, and it was like, just completely open to whatever would happen. And it really defined MTV's programming slate and a whole new generation. And what I would like to do, I thought this might be fun. How many of you have seen on social there was sort of a viral trend going around where if you could meet your younger self for coffee? Anybody remember seeing this? People wrote essays and it was very inspiring. So I thought it would be fun to ask you now, if you could meet your younger self on reality television for coffee, what would that conversation look like?
I love that question. So it would be a few things. So if I sat down with like 17-year-old me who just got on TV, I would say enunciate, because I sounded like I had marbles in my mouth all the time. So that'd be the first thing. But then I would just say, to enjoy every moment, every stage of life, because my whole life, even from when I was 12 years old, I always wanted to be older. And I was always looking ahead instead of just being in the moment. And honestly, it's not until probably the last 5 years or so that I've really learned how to focus on being present. And that probably has to do with having 3 kids as well, because you see just how quickly it goes. My oldest is almost 13, and I honestly feel like I just was holding him in the hospital. So I now, as I get older, want time to slow down. So that would be the biggest message, is just enjoy being 17, enjoy being 18, just enjoy what's right in front of you in this moment, because everything ultimately does work out.
And if, so here she is saying, but I just want to get to that next place. And you're saying, slow down. What do you think she would be surprised about herself that she has yet to discover?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that, it's funny because when you look back at your life in these different phases, you don't realize how great things are in the moment. And so I think there's like that innocence at age 17, 18. I also think when you're that age, you think you have so much responsibility and like everything is so hard. And then you have kids and you're like, I knew nothing about responsibility. So there's this real pure innocence in before you have kids, and just those like late teen, early 20s. It's really fun. Like that's when life should be just fun. And you are falling on your face and you're learning how to pick yourself back up. And I think that's when you start to build confidence in yourself and just trusting yourself. And so, like, again, the older I've gotten, the more I've realized it's about the journey rather than the destination, and it's about those moments in between. And so I would just sit young me down and try to explain that and be like, I'm telling you, you're gonna look back and wish that you just enjoyed these moments a little bit more.
Okay, so now I'm really gonna get cheesy, and I'll bring out the therapy couch soon. But what I wanna hear you tell her is, can you tell her about your evolution and who you are right now? Like, talk to her. What would you say? Who are you for everyone here that's looking to really connect right now?
Yeah, I did not realize I was signing up for therapy today. So what I would tell her is that everything that I had been through, everything that we're gonna go through is actually gonna be a gift. And I'm gonna learn to appreciate everything one day, because it is ultimately gonna get us to where we're going. And where we are headed is such a beautiful place of actually being confident and actually loving ourselves. But we have to go through all this other stuff to get there, because without the darkness, you don't know the light. I really do believe that. And I really, in the last few years, someone said to me a couple years ago that things happen for you, not to you. And that's sort of changed my perspective on everything in life, from little things to big things, of essentially everything we go through, there's a reason for it, and we can either take things as opportunities and learn from them and grow, or we can play the victim, but I always choose to take them as opportunities.
It's funny you say that, because how many of us remember thinking about how confident you came across when you were younger, when you probably had no foundation for that. And now there's so much more reason we all have to be confident, but we're scared sometimes and we're afraid to put it out there. I see you nodding. Because you came across to a generation as somebody who is confident, willing to take risks, and it's funny, you share that you actually were like anything but.
A mess, yeah. I know, and that was wild for me because, yeah, people saw me as this really confident 17-year-old girl in high school, and I always looked at myself, and still do, because, by the way, I've had to go back and watch Laguna Beach a couple years ago, and even more so now, I see this young girl who was a mess, a complete mess, and was overcompensating, and I would say there's a difference between being confident and being tough. I was tough. Like, I was a survivor. You could throw me in a situation and it was sink or swim, and I was always gonna swim. But there's a huge difference between being confident. Confidence is quiet, insecurity is loud, and I think I was a great example of that.
And how has that experience influenced you? You're a mom of 3, and I know there are some moms here at every stage, new moms, moms that are learning to have the house back to themselves, but how did your experiences and going through all that influence you as a mom?
I mean, I think for me as a mom with raising 3 kids, I want my kids to know that they always have consistency with me and trust. I think instilling confidence in kids is, they have to do it on their own. It's more just, we can be a good support system, but I think it ultimately is allowing them to also fall on their faces and show them that they can pick themselves back up. And I just really think consistency is key. I mean, I think I've talked about it a lot, but my dad is a narcissist and I've had to cut him out of my life. But that was a large part of why I was such a mess, I think. And listen, I think a lot of kids are just messes. You have to find yourself. But I think anyone who is the kid of a narcissist can really appreciate that it's a really confusing gray area as a kid that kind of makes you question your own reality. So I think I was dealing with that as well. And so I think for kids, it's having an open communication and supporting them even when they do fail and maybe they don't do something perfectly, but saying like, you try though, and you know, that's what's most important. It's those conversations.
No, it's so funny. One of our friends in common happens, not to name drop, but Justin Timberlake's mom, Miss Lynn, is someone that Kristin knows and is like a second mother to me. And I've always really valued May-December relationships. And that's what I love so much about the theme today, stages, because it's so nice to see people from different places and ages all come together. And I feel like what so many parents and grandparents today, and even ourselves as individuals, we are sort of in a reality world, not television. And you went through that before a lot of people. What insight might you be able to share with family members of kids who are struggling because they've been influenced by instability or whatnot? Being in a fishbowl on television isn't dissimilar from kids that are now exposed to all their friends in school or, you know, co-workers. What might you be able to share now that could help people based on all of that experience that you were thrown into?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is, you know, yes, I went through it on TV, but like you just said, people, it's so similar for so many different people. And, you know, I think, sorry.
She's like, where do I start? Do we have a cocktail yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how did you actually, because I find you so resilient. I mean, if you look back to who was on reality television back then, you're standing here with a self-funded, bootstrapped company making not just tens of millions of dollars a year, but you have not only persevered, but evolved and leveled up in a way that I think you have a lot to share in terms of resilience and strength.
Well, thank you. It's about just not listening to the noise. You know, I think no matter who you are, what field you're in, there's always going to be people telling you no, or telling you you can't do something, or that following your dreams is silly. You can't get bogged down by that. I've always said, like, if you have passion and you really feel strongly about something, that's what's most important. I think it's about learning to trust your gut, finding that inner voice, and going off of that, like really tuning into your heart and following your heart.
So for someone who's going to say this to their grandchild or their child,
you had something show up on reality television. Everybody saw maybe where you face planted or made a bad choice. And they come home and they're like, I can't face my friends again. This is awful. Knowing you've been in that position, what would be helpful to hear to get support? What would you say to that, person to help them see past this?
Well, something that my mom actually still says to me is, this too shall pass. And it's true. I mean, in the moment, these things, they are a big deal. I would never take away from how they feel in the moment, but it does pass, and you're able to always look back on these things that have happened in your life and be like, actually, it wasn't as bad as I thought. And again, it kind of goes back to what I said a minute ago of everything happens for you, not to you. And so how can you learn and grow from this experience, and just knowing that one day this all will make sense? I mean, I've always said that for a long time. Actually, my mom said that to me too, is everything happens for a reason, and maybe right now in the moment you don't know what it is. You may not know for a few years, but you will look back and it'll all make sense one day.
I love that. Something else Kristin said that caught my attention is she said, I am not a people pleaser. And I remember reading this thinking, for those who struggle, anybody else like to make sure they take care of a lot of other things? Yes. Give us the advice. How are you not? Because listen, I literally could quote you because you said a few things about it. You did. You said, I have never been a people pleaser. And you went on to say, we are here, put on this earth for our own journey and self. And I was so impressed. I thought, okay, Dish, how do you come to this conclusion?
So I get this question a lot. I don't know. I wish I had some, concrete ideas of like, here's what you have to do. I don't know. I think so. My childhood, I moved around a lot. I was always the new girl. I think I was thrown in situations where I had to just figure it out. I didn't have a choice. And I think because I was thrown in so many different situations, I think that's ultimately how you build confidence, is learning that you can trust yourself and that you know that you will be able to get through whatever the situation may be. And so, but I also think because, here's what I can tell you actually. When I do something that I'm not 100% behind, it eats me alive. I mean, I don't know if you guys are similar, but I can feel it in my body, like everything in me. And then usually if let's say I commit to something that I don't actually want to do, it doesn't go well. I've just had so much trial and error in my life of learning to trust my gut.
I think that's really relatable, how many of us know, I see all these heads shaking. You make a choice that you can feel it, right? You just feel it in your bones, and you know, I'm doing something that ultimately doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And it's happened too many times where I'm just like, okay, I'm only going to do what excites me, what brings me joy. I think, and listen, obviously there's situations, especially being a mom, you have to do some things that don't necessarily bring you joy. But, when you can make decisions based on what you want to do, I do think, this is my life. This is your life. Like, we each have our own lives. Like, we should be doing what we want to do, ultimately, what makes us happy.
Yeah, I need a t-shirt that I can read in the mirror, though, to make sure I do that, because I find myself, I don't know, not to turn this about me, but just last week, we were getting ready to go somewhere, and of course, everybody's like, you're late, this and that, and I thought, everybody's showered, dressed, perfectly packed. I took out the trash, cleaned the dishes, did XYZ. I am not showered, and now you're pissed that I'm late? What have y'all been doing?
Yeah, exactly.
But, so again, so many people have watched, like, you reinvent yourself over the past few decades. And if you haven't watched her, you, first of all, were thrown into reality television when this was, like, brand new and no one knew the rules. You then... Your first child you had at 25. I still can't believe you have 3. You also shared your relationship publicly on a show, which was challenging. A lot of people in this room can relate to that not working out the way you wanted. And then you start this company all by yourself, right? And the misconceptions are flying around, but wow, some insight. What inspired it? How did you feel about it then? And just tell us about how you are here looking like happier than ever.
Oh, well, thank you. It's so funny because when I look back at the early days, I had no idea what I was doing,
Wait, I just want to say, the reason I ask it that way is not like a canned question. It's that I think the misconception around somebody who's been on television or famous is that, oh, there's agents. People do that for you. You just give your name out, and I can tell you I've met enough, like thousands and thousands of brands. that doesn't work. That's not enough. So I'm really interested in you sharing that.
Well, thanks, and that's a good point. No, I mean, from day one, I've been 100% owner. I mean, I launched it out of my house.
You started with how many pieces?
I want to say it was like 8 to 10 pieces. And I mean, no business plan, like literally no thought went into it. I found someone to create my website and a manufacturer. And from there, I was unstoppable. At the time, I had this fire because I had a shoe line with a well-established company that I had for about 5 years. And you know, there were good things and bad things. I think sometimes learning what not to do is almost more valuable. So it was a great learning lesson for me. But while I had final say, I kind of didn't. And I just felt like I knew my customer, you know, I knew my girl. And so I had this fire in me to show to everybody that I knew what I was doing in the branding world.
And that happens a lot, by the way, when you see your favorite personality out there, if they do have a collaboration or a brand, oftentimes they have input, but it is scary because you don't get final say, and to really launch something on your own is very different.
It is very different. And I mean, a good example of that is I was working with Chinese Laundry, and you know, that's a company that's been around for years and years. I mean, I grew up wearing them. They have a well-oiled machine. You know, I'm answering to a team of people, and they think they know what's best because they've been doing it longer, and I can totally appreciate that. But, and I'm thankful for that experience because it did give me that fire. So with that, I launched Uncommon James out of a room in my house. I finally had a girl come over and just help me package orders. But I mean, at first I was doing the customer service emails. I was packaging all of the orders. I mean, I was doing everything.
And so there are a lot of women here thinking about rediscovery right now. I have talked to at least a dozen of you who said, I just moved here, I'm pivoting, I am in a new chapter. The lesson right now is you can do it, you can do it, you can do it yourself, you can be inspired.
I recommend doing it yourself. I would never take that away. Those early days of being hands-on and doing everything, those were some of the hardest days, but some of the best days. And I think as we grew and scaled, I loved that I, at one point in time, did do everything. I just think, I don't know, especially because for me, it's my 4th child, you know, in the beginning. And maybe it's because I'm too much of a control freak, but, I had to learn to finally start delegating and passing on some of that control, which was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But I think everyone should do it themselves. And I think if you can be 100% owner, do that. I know that's not feasible for everybody.
I talk to so many people who are intimidated by what their brand should look like. What, you know, you think you're not, you don't know enough or you're not polished. It's like, but that's the beauty.
I agree.
Is that you're adding value by doing something that they didn't think of yet, or that you're doing it your way. And who cares if there are 5,000 other shoes out there or whatnot? If you have something you feel like you would wake up, I mean, people would always ask about, like, you know, being on the show, right? I'm sure people ask you about being on reality television. And I know in my lane, I'd say, if you are excited to wake up at 3:30 in the morning and do it all the time and things go wrong, I couldn't imagine doing anything else. And there are producers in this room that will tell you, they love me. Emily over there listening to me, but I will call her on a Friday night at 8 o'clock when she's ready to go on a date and say, but I had a better idea. And she's like, oh, for the love of God, I don't need it. But when you feel something you're excited about, I don't care if it's dating someone new, whatever, just make sure you listen to that, right?
Without a doubt. I mean, every market is oversaturated. Every single one. Tell me one that's not. But I think there's room for everybody. And I've always said, yeah, if you have drive, ambition, and that passion, those things can't be taught. You know, you can't go to school for those. So those will take you pretty far, I think.
Yeah. And so, like, I just thought it would be funny with the theme stages today. I was like, if your life in decades was chapters or stages of a book, what might be, like, you call your 20s? What would be the chapter title?
Well, 20s are funny for me because, you know, I started out single, met my ex-husband at age 23 and became a mom at 25. So it's like I would do like pre-marriage, you know,
so
like
first was
teens,
like the teens were reality check.
Okay, yeah, so like late teens, early 20s would be party girl. You know?
Okay.
I was living my life, I was having fun. Then I became a mom, you know, and a wife, so wifed up. You know,
wifed up. But what about procreation?
I like that.
Because you also created
there you go. Okay.
procreation.
I like that. And then I'd say like post-divorce, I'm finding myself, like I'm coming into my own. So
What's the thing that surprised you the most about divorce, looking back now?
Oh, no one's ever asked me that question, actually.
Well, how many people here might know a thing about that? Hands? People?
Yeah, unfortunately, probably
See?
more than we would like to admit.
Okay, so, but what's the thing that surprised you the most? Because you hear all the time, you know, it's so hard, or it's this, or it's that, and I know everybody's situation.
It is really hard, but I actually think it can be a really great thing. I mean, I'm thankful for it, you know, as I'm pretty sure a lot of people are. I think it can be a really good thing, and I don't believe in staying together for the kids. And yes, it is hard, and, you know, but I think it's a really good thing. That would be my positive spin on it.
Yeah, that's great. And now that you are here at this point, what I feel like would be so interesting to learn is if you could really think about, as you're self-funded and you're looking at your brand and what you feel like the value you want to add, where would that go for you? Because right now, you know, you have jewelry upstairs. I know women have they've seen beauty. Talk to me about what your dream would be for Uncommon James.
So we are going to continue to open up a few more brick and mortars. So we're about to sign a lease in Austin, which I'm really excited about. But really, you know, the jewelry is our bread and butter. It's at this point, it's running very smoothly. We have a lot of ideas and excitement for the skincare, and we do want to launch a little bit of makeup. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but we want to morph the skincare then into some makeup. And no plans to do a whole robust makeup collection, but doing a few products that would be a nice extension from the skincare. But I think that's where my time and energy is going right now, is Uncommon Beauty, and just where we can take that.
And what I would love, because I get to sit in this fun position where I listen to so many of the women in this room who have gotten on social and DM'd, and then I talk to brands that I'm lucky to hear the inspiration behind. I think it would be so fun for people to hear, you started with 8 pieces, and you were just so excited, because when you think about what a brand means, it's like there's something in you that wants to share with other people. Can you contrast when you started, how excited you were, what that collection was like, and now? Because it's not just that you want to like, oh, I want jewelry, I want this, because you're really involved in the evolution of this, and I'd love for you to share a little bit with them.
Yeah, because that first collection, there was no real thought that went into it. It was so random. It was not cohesive at all. It didn't make any sense.
But it was a success.
So
it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, it doesn't, you know? Maybe if I could go back, I would redo a few things, but hey, we are where we are, so it's all good. But you know, it's almost like I had to go back and learn everything and do things backwards, where now, and by the way, my team is phenomenal. I mean, they really are. I couldn't do any of this without them. But for us, it's become, well, first of all, we have our Uncommon James and who our customer is, you know, and she's a little edgy. She definitely speaks her mind. She's unapologetically herself, which I do feel like is an extension of me. And then with the skincare, that's been a nice evolution for us. And honestly, how that came about was my team noticed a few years ago that people's #1 questions were actually what my personal skincare routine was. And so I had never even thought about doing skincare, but I thought, well, you know, may as well just explore this and see. At the time, I thought I was using relatively clean skincare. We sent it off to a lab, had it tested. Come to find out, it wasn't really clean at all. And, you know, we think these products are doing a good thing for our skin, but they're in fact doing the opposite when there's all of these, you know, chemicals and everything in them. So that was actually kind of alarming to me. And that made me want to do the skincare. And now where it's kind of evolved to, because at the time we launched with it being clean, there's a million clean skincare brands out there now. For us now it's...
So talk to, why yours? If you say that, that's what I think people want to know. Okay, why?
Well, wait, why are there a million?
No, not so much why there are a million, but like, why yours? Because you're like, yes, there are clean skincare brands.
Exactly. So I think at the time, the real focus was to be clean, but we've evolved from that, and now it's more, we're taking a stance on being really hydrating and going after that glowy, radiant skin, and clean is a bonus. So instead of just clean initially being, you know, what we were standing for, that's now it's just like icing on the cake.
I love that. And if there are so, like I said, so many people here are in a place of rediscovery, and you've clearly visited that theme over and over. As you're evolving, what might you want to say to those who have paved the way or have been out there?
You know, I think that we're all in this together. And I think even like you guys being here today and supporting me, it means the world. And I just think women supporting women right now, we're having such a movement, and I think it's so important. And I just think at the end of the day, don't let any no's stop anybody, and just go out there and chase your dreams and keep picking yourself back up and doing it.
You guys know Courteney from Friends, right? She's a director, but she's also a director, a producer. She has a Hollywood Walk of Fame star, no big deal. And she's recently, a few years ago, added founder to this long resume. She's the founder of Home Court, which is a brand, yes, I hear you back there, I love it. It's one of those brands that's elevating everyday cleaning essentials. So Courteney, I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you so much, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Your career as an actor has been so robust, and you've pivoted into founder. And it's not like you're leaving everything else behind, but talk to me about that transition and that stage of your life where you were like, I'm gonna be a founder and I wanna do Home Court, and why Home Court?
Well, there was some similarity to the character I played for 10 years, Monica.
You think?
So, I am a little neat and I'm a little organized, and I'm obsessed with design and I'm obsessed with scent. And so it was just kind of the perfect timing, perfect combination of something that I would like to put my efforts and my passion into. This is the first thing that I've actually created. I've had a few campaigns, but I have to believe in what I'm doing. And so during lockdown, I was like, you know, we were so used to needing everything to be cleaned and germ-free, and it's like, oh, we're gonna be home forever. And then I started thinking, why don't we just
spraying down packages.
Spraying down packages, wiping it down. The smell of Clorox was the greatest smell I could ever imagine, because it meant everything was gonna be okay. But so just created a line that is beautiful. It's beauty products for the home. It's beautiful, it works, it's safe, and it smells incredible. There's a ton of scents, and I'm just really proud of it.
Yeah, and it's kind of, you've spoken about this, you're taking an approach of home care, not just like this is a cleaning product. What does home care mean to you?
Well, you know, we spend, I don't know if we all do, but I spend a lot of time, you know, how do I look, and my hair and my face, and I forgot about the body until recently, and I wish I had thought about that earlier. But so why not take as much care with your home? I think that's so important. We're there so often, so lighting a candle and spraying your counters down with our counter spray, for instance, it's like something that you want to do. I maybe do it too much just because I love the scent. Or, you know, the dish soap, we have laundry, which is incredible.
Yes.
We have a body line. I could go on, so you keep asking questions, and
I know, I love it. Tell us more.
I'll just be like the whole time.
Actually, you're talking about something here, the scents. I think that's something that for me, as someone who, I review products all day long. I get scent products, I'm trying stuff all the time. The thing that struck me, and this is no shade to you, I was like, it's not even about the founder or who you are. I'm like, these scents and these formulas just feel so luxurious, and I specifically really love the scent CC. And then I found out it's sort of your signature scent that you created yourself way back in the day. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Okay, thank you for saying that. CC is a scent. I've been using 2 oils and a perfume. I'm not a very sweet, I am sweet, but I'm not a very sweet person. I like a little bit of a smoky kind of, anyway, so it's got cedar wood and cardamom and a little bit of cinnamon, and it's just a very kind of a sexy scent. It's 2 oils and a perfume that I've put together, and then we sent it to a perfumery, and they were able to create Cece, which is my nickname. And we turned it into a home care
whole line.
product.
I love it. And you know,
and now we're gonna come out with stuff for the body that actually is that scent, and then everyone is gonna smell.
We're all gonna smell like you now.
Me.
And so you're an entrepreneur now, and you're wearing that hat, right? But how has that been different from acting, or is it that different?
I think it's closer to directing.
Okay.
Because I really care. This is not a joke. Like, I know Naomi was here earlier, and we were actually on this trip this weekend, which is ironic. That
So
I was
ironic.
like, I think I'm going to see you Thursday. We miss each other, but she really cares. Like, it's so
Yes.
nice when you are involved in something. I'm involved in every single aspect creatively. I mean, our CEO, Sarah Yonke, is here, and she is, she's a business mastermind, and she came from L'Oreal, so she really knows that end. But there's not a creative decision that's made that I'm not involved in, because I'm so type A and so particular.
Like
And
somebody we all know from the screen.
yeah. So it's less about acting and more about like directing and caring about the font, the color of the bottle and thing, and having them square and line up and look great on your counter and work. And all. It's just, I'm sure I exhaust people, but it means a lot to me.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. It definitely shows. I feel like your line's very curated. You're not just launching like 100 products to throw at people. You're like, we're gonna launch the spray, then the hand lotion, and the dish soap. So you've been really careful about it. And so when you're talking about home court, let's talk about home for Courteney. What is home like for you? What's your home life like these days? Like, if we walked in, what would it smell like? What does it look like right now?
Okay, well, like I said, I'm obsessed with design. I don't leave my home very often. Like, I love being home. And of course, my partner lives in London, so I'm constantly going to visit him over there. So that's leaving home. That's far. But anyway, I guess at my house, I'd like to entertain, and I've been doing for every Sunday probably for the last, oh gosh, I just had a birthday, so I'm older than I think. Probably like 40 years.
Wow.
I've been having the dinner. No, that's not possible. No, I didn't live in LA. It's not possible. Okay.
What is time?
Anyway, whenever I moved to California, I grew up and my grandmother I have 21 first cousins.
Wow.
And my grandmother would have this gathering every Sunday at 5 o'clock, and we would have the same food, and it's just what the family did. But in California or Los Angeles, there is no community. Everyone lives so far away. I live at least an hour from any friend of mine just because of traffic and where I live and whatever. So I have gatherings because I like to have a community. And so my house, I probably have a different candle in every room. One of the things is important is that all the scents kind of flow.
Okay.
There's nothing that you go, oh, I couldn't, if you like rose, well, that will also work with CC, which will also work with mandarin basil.
And neroli.
I learned the term, it's called scentscaping, but.
Oh, I like that.
I don't know if we made that up.
I don't know.
So don't use it and expect people to know. I'm not sure. But I say it now.
It
I
works.
didn't make it
I
up.
like it. It makes sense. You're sort of crafting the scents for every room.
But anyway, so food and music and a great scented room, and my style is very neutral, but things that you can change and add pops of color. So pillows always change. Did you even ask me about that?
I love that. No, I love it. You know what? Now I want to know, what's kind of like the weirdest habit that you have in your home? Like, are you the type that's like, I gotta like make sure, for my husband, it's like all the cabinets need to be shut. If I leave one open, he like freaks out. Like, do you have a strange habit that you have at home?
Well, I think like an empty drawer is my favorite drawer.
Okay.
I just don't like, I like organization. I like things, I just don't like clutter at all. Yeah. So weirdest habit would be that you would open my drawer and say, do you even live here?
Okay, I like that too. Very minimalist. You're talking about your hosting, and I found that really impressive, not only because it's kind of, you're from Alabama, you carried this tradition that was really deeply rooted in your family, 21 first cousins, that sounds like a riot in the best way, and grandma was putting dinners together for you guys, and I love that you brought that to LA to build your community, because when you moved to LA, you didn't know anybody really, right? You had to build your community of friends and people, and you had this huge job that ended up happening, right?
Yeah.
So how has hosting sort of evolved these last, let's call it 25-ish years?
Yeah, that's good. 25, 40. It's kind of insane. It just evolved because LA is so spread out. I wanted to have a community, and I love to, I think my house is always a fun house to come to because there's always good food. I have a wood-burning pizza oven, and so if you can get free, delicious food, drinks, and it's a comfortable surrounding. I want people to feel at home at my house. That's really, really important to me. So I think I've accomplished that.
Yeah.
Everyone.
How many people are showing up to these?
It could be, and also
CC
it doesn't
events?
matter what you do. I don't care what your passion is. I'll sometimes look over and go, do you know who that person is? And at least I know that I like them because whoever invited them, I like. So I love to meet new people. My range of friends is kind of, you wouldn't understand because I'm not you, but it is kind of all over the place.
Yeah. So basically what
like
you're saying is
people.
we're all invited.
Everyone's invited.
We're coming over.
I don't care what you do, as long as you're nice and you are interested, that's all that matters.
Yeah. No, I read that about you, that you have never denied anybody who came over and brought a friend. You're like, great, if you're a friend of my friend, then you're a friend of mine. It's very welcoming. And that's how you met your partner, right? Who was
that's right.
casually Ed Sheeran's +1. Is that right?
Yep.
And that's how you guys met?
Yeah, so my partner's name is Johnny McDade, and I knew Ed before I knew Johnny. And Ed, I think it was actually my friend Krista, who I was doing the show called Cougar Town, and Krista Miller is married to Bill Lawrence, but she was also a co-star on that show, and she does the music. And Ed Sheeran was at Nobu, and she said, I used one of your songs, and it was A-Team from a long time ago. This was like 13 years ago. And she said, my friend has people over on Sundays. It's Courtney, and she lives down the beach. You want to come? And he goes, sure. And he didn't even know, but we met, and then we became really good friends. And about 8 or 9 months later, he said, he was staying with me because he stays at the house when he comes to LA. And he said, I've got a friend. I want to invite a couple guys from Snow Patrol over and Taylor. And I was like, all right, of course, anybody you want. Now, meanwhile, it was Taylor Swift. And
what?
And it was the lead singer of Snow Patrol, Gary Lightbody, and my partner, Johnny McDade. Now, that was a life-changing moment because I've been with him for 12 years, but not better. Sorry, Johnny. But one day he's staying at the house. He's like, oh, are you cool if I have Elton over for dinner tonight? I was like,
that's your
what?
+1?
Anyway, he said, if you want to learn, he named, I forgot, Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer, then I'm sure we can probably post something. So I called my piano teacher. I was like, can you come over right now? And I don't know how to do this. I'm so nervous. And I learned how to do it, at least half the song. I'm sitting there with Brandi Carlile was at my house. And this sounds like I'm name dropping. I'm so cool.
I'm like, is this a real story?
No, it's a real story. I did direct Brandi Carlile's Right on Time video, so I'm friends with her. Met through Instagram. Anyway, I don't know if anybody cares, but I play the piano next to Elton John as he has his arm around me. And Ed's playing guitar, and so is Brandi. One of the greatest moments of my life.
I mean, it sounds like it, and the way you're describing it, I could vividly see.
I promise my life is not like this every week. It was just unbelievable. Though.
So it's safe to say that was like the best surprise guest you had at one of your parties.
If you're coming over on a Sunday, don't expect any of those people.
What are you cooking? Are you cooking, or is everyone expected to bring something?
Nobody brings anything, nothing. Like, you don't need to bring anything, and it's always pizza, and usually salad and protein and stuff like that.
Keep it low-key and casual. Wow, well, hosting is incredible, but so is being a mom. Coco, your daughter, just celebrated a big birthday, right? 21. That's incredible. Yeah. And what is that like for you as a mom? I mean...
It feels great. Coco is really... she lives in New York. She goes to an acting school. She stopped going to a college here and decided that she wanted to work harder at being an actor. So she loves it. I mean, it is so intense, though. Poor girl. I mean, she's learning more about acting than I'm ever going to learn. Because they just do it all day, and they bring up more emotions. It's like a stirring up of everything that's ever happened in her life. I'm not sure she'll need all that, but...
Yeah. Okay.
She's great. She's
doing good?
She's got a beautiful voice. I'm really proud of her.
Oh, that's so incredible. You guys have collaborated a little bit, right, with your brand as well?
Oh, yeah, we created a body line, which I'm obsessed with. It's called Coco Moi. It's got coconut, and we always kind of carry a few fragrances through, or a few scents, like cedarwood, and it's got pepper. And I actually went into the perfumery and made the scent. And then I made a couple and said, Coco, what do you think? And she chose the one I was really good. I was gonna do it anyway, but.
You're like, yes.
Yeah, and she's got great taste. She made the mood board of what we wanted it. We want it to be like almost, not like a sunscreen, because even though some smell great, I wanted it to have coconut, but also be something you could wear all the time and feel, this sounds weird, but like feel wet. Like, you know, the beach meets wet meets the woods. You know, it just is really unique. But the body butter and the body mist, I didn't even know what body mist was.
Yeah.
I keep it in my car, and no matter where I go, I spray it on because it's like a refreshing thing that doesn't, it's not like, oh, wow, they really put the perfume on before this meeting.
Right.
It just smells incredible, and the body butter is, I just love to be hydrated, and I'm not. And so it's my favorite.
That's amazing.
And
She
the
sounds
body
like a
wash.
budding entrepreneur.
You should try it. It's great. And
Okay.
the bottles look beautiful. It's really, I brag about stuff, don't I?
That is amazing. I mean, you make incredible
help it.
stuff, so it's okay. We have to talk about Friends. It is a timeless show. I can't believe it ended 27 years ago already. Like, I can't even believe it. I mean,
See, that 40 years wasn't wrong.
it goes so fast. What do you think it is about the show that makes it so timeless and something that's just relevant in, like, no matter what?
I know, I'm so lucky that I was on a show that was written that well, and it is that generation after generation. I can't believe that people stop and want a picture that are 12 years old. Or, you know, they'll say, my grandmother lives or whatever. I mean, it's a
Everybody's
weird thing.
watched it.
It is timeless, whether the computers are this big or the cell phones or have antennas.
Absolutely.
The jokes, it's just a relationship show, and the jokes work. And each character had such a unique voice, and I think that's really important, that someone can relate to someone on the show.
Yeah.
And Matthew Perry is honestly one of the funniest people.
So iconic.
I mean, really
Yeah.
was.
Just absolutely. I mean, it really is one of those shows, like you said, it just transcends generations. You know, my family speaks Spanish, and we grew up watching it and sort of like learning the American comedy and the American sayings was in English. It was just really incredible. If you could go back and relive an episode or a moment, you know, on the show, what do you think that would be? Like a moment that brought you just so much joy that you're like, I would go back to this in a heartbeat.
Oh gosh, there's so many.
There's so many.
I mean, I loved when I asked Chandler to marry me. Let's not get emotional, shall we?
Let's talk about what about a funny moment with the
Okay,
ladies?
a funny moment. I love the Thanksgiving episodes.
I mean, I know. I feel like we all love it too.
I do love Thanksgiving. I love when Rachel and Monica were betting or playing the game, so we would switch apartments with Joey and Chandler, and us getting into a fight. And I love, we just had the best guest stars.
You did.
We really
there were
did.
so many.
Yeah.
And speaking of friends, you are real life friends with Jen and Lisa, and you guys, I think there's something really inspirational about it that anybody at any age, any female can relate to, is just those female bonds that you've had in your life. And you guys have been friends since the show and seen each other through different eras of your life and different projects and, you know, different hardships and things like that. Like, how do you think you maintain all those the closeness with them?
Well, the girls especially, and all of us have gone through so many changes and things, and when you are together with someone for 10 years and almost spent every day together, of course you're gonna go through life changes. But we just keep up the relationship because we absolutely adore each other. We pull for each other, we care. There is, it just feels like family.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys show up for each other at all times.
Absolutely, and it's always the most supportive. It's just, I feel so lucky to have those two girls in my life. They're amazing.
Are they your go-tos? Like whenever you're like, something catastrophic happened or something really great happened, you're like, I'm calling them up?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on to that. It makes me emotional too. Everything makes me emotional.
Oh, I want to make her cry.
We have nicknames for each other, and
oh, you do?
We never veer off of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about what's coming up next. You have accomplished so much, right? Like I went through your multi-hyphenate title at the beginning. What's next for you? What do you have on the horizon? Are there any dream jobs out there that you still want to do, or any new products you're really looking forward to launching?
Well, it's weird as I'm getting older. More doors are opening up. It's actually kind of cool.
That's awesome.
I have an acting job that I don't know. If I was a singer, I would be tired. Like, I don't know. I feel like I should be tapping it to a beat or something. Like, I'm gonna have to hold both. Okay. Oh, so I have this acting job that I'm excited about. It's a limited series that I'm gonna do next year. But really, what I've been working on, besides home court, which is my #1 passion, is I'm going to be directing this movie that is very dear to my heart. It's the subject matter. You're going to say, what? Dear to your heart? It's just because I've worked so hard on it. Okay. And it's coming together. It is based on a docu-series called Evil Genius. And it will, it's going to happen, and I'm excited about it.
That's incredible. Well, we can't wait to hear more about it.
Thank you.
I know you have Scream 7 coming up, which is
January.
also iconic. Yeah. Tell us about that new film.
Well, it involves a white mask and a black cape. And there are some killings, I hate to say.
That's exciting.
Oh, but I can say this, Neve Campbell is back, and that was really exciting.
Wow. That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
We're excited
for that one.
That's
another thing that I'm really lucky that Cougar Town was 6 years, Friends was 10 years, and now I've done 7 Screams.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often where you get to be a part of things that last so long, so.
Yeah. Do you believe in manifesting? Do you say those dreams out loud and really?
I do believe in it, and I don't do it enough. But I do believe, someone told me about this manifestation thing that's called the sun spoke, and you take a circle and inside of it you write, I think you write like, this is something, if this is in my best and highest good, and you write down what you want. And then all the spokes you write as if it's already happened. Oh, the audience loved this movie, or whatever your manifestation is, as if it's already happened. And then, I don't know, I think it works.
It does. And I think hard work also helps, right?
No. It's just about manifestation.
Okay, we'll do that. I have some notes then for myself too. I love that. Thank you, Courtney. We have a little bit of a rapid fire, some short answers from you coming up, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yep.
It's a little game we've been playing all day. It's been really fun. Okay. One word to describe this current stage of your life.
Acceptance.
Okay. Your favorite stage of life so far?
Right now. One word, now.
Yes. I love how seriously you're taking it.
It's a game, no?
Yes. Just, first stage you ever performed on?
Oh, gosh. At Camp Mac, I was Anna and the King and I.
Oh, so good. Dream stage to play piano on?
I did that.
Yeah, in your home?
Yeah, dreams, yeah. I get too nervous. I have performance anxiety, but to play at home, just with, Elton John.
Okay, and one thing you're leaving behind in this current stage of life, saying, I don't need this anymore, I'm moving forward with a positive attitude.
I would say just learning that saying no is okay, and that doesn't mean you're taking care of yourself, spending more time taking care of yourself than doing things for the wrong reason.
Yeah. And what can we expect from Home Court next?
Home Court, you can expect more scents.
Okay.
You can expect, you got to check out the laundry line. It's incredible. We're going to expand the body line into other scents as well. We have, right now, I think we're going to be showing the kitchen trio, but I also love the trays. So if you are getting the kitchen trio, you might want to get the tray because looks so good on your counter all
It does.
together.
Yeah, it makes all the difference.
Expanding CC into other things, into the body line.
Okay.
I think, I don't know, Sarah always, I never know what I'm allowed to say, what I'm not. It's not like it's a movie.
It's all right.
but-
We're all friends here. We're all coming over for dinner on Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It was so great having you here,
Thank you.
Courtney. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.